Nosce ipsum. Nosce ipsum, right? I'm on the right day. Week 4. Good. We get to learn personality types, love languages. I get to see about your guys' values, boundaries, non-negotiables. This is a very important week. Also, real talk, guys, I could probably do a full year's course just on this one section. I literally could do 52 trainings just on this section and probably go over. This is a fucking big section, but I just want you guys to get the tools so we can build later. Later on, we go much deeper on this section. So I want you guys to know there's a plan for this. I just need the base level. Any of you who paid for the Enneagram shit, you did not have to do this. I try to tell you guys, don't pay for it. I just need the numbers. I don't need you guys to pay for shit. If you did because you wanted to, right on. You did not have to. Okay. So don't feel like I didn't pay for it. Did I do it wrong? No, I don't need you to pay for shit. I just need the number. That's it. So I'm going to start off with you guys, your Myers-Briggs, your Enneagram, and your love languages. I just want the base for you guys, and then we're going to go over values. And then we're going to test to see, why are these your main values, to see what are truly your main values. And once you know those, then we can create healthy boundaries and we can know where our non-negotiables lie. It's very, very useful. In which case, I'm going to start off at the top here. I'm going to jump in with Aaron first. Aaron, what's your Myers-Briggs, your Enneagram, and your main love languages?
So my Myers-Briggs is an architect.
Mhm.
My Enneagram, it came out as a 6, but statistically I scored higher as a 4. And then my love language is quality time.
And then what's for the Myers-Briggs? Can you give me the letters?
It's INTJC, I believe. Let me double check.
I don't know
I
if the
have it up
last one's a
here.
C. It'd be either a T or a A.
INTJ.
Okay, good. And then you said you were higher on 4, like a 4 and a 6.
Yeah, I was a 77 on a 4 and a 71 on a 6, but it rated me as a 6 overall.
Okay, cool. So the 6 thing, and it does check out because the way your systems operate, 6 makes sense. Okay, good. All right, and then you said quality time, and then what was the next highest one?
They didn't give me a next highest one. They only gave me
Got it.
one.
Got it. It's okay. So they changed that a little bit. They used to give you like the each percentage thing. We'll find a different one and better one and put it in the system. So that works for me. So thank you for letting me know. So quality
No
time
problem.
is your main one. And then if you had to do an assessment, and you guys can jump ahead of this right now if you need to. If you had to give an assessment, there's a thing I realized with love languages is we show it one way, but we like to receive it a different way. You guys are familiar with this. So you guys may like to do, I like to buy her things to show her I love her, but I want her to play with my penis to show her she loves me. It's like, that's different. One is gift giving, one is physical touch, so those are different things. You like that, Kyle? All right. So this is going to be like, I have a different way I like to receive it. So just so I know, our guys, and Aaron, mine fell in with yours too. My order goes quality time, and then it goes into words of affirmation and then touch. Those are my top 3. This for me. Most guys, just so you know, I see are the top ones are affirmation and touch. That's our receive for receiving. Like, how do you know that you're doing good? I get praise and admiration, I get appreciation, and then she wants to touch all over my body and I feel wanted. Those are generally the ways that I feel appreciated. But if she starts going, hey, I fixed the toilet and I bought you a shirt, you'd be like, well, I like those things. Those are nice, but can I get the touch part? I really want that. And so which ways do we show love? A lot of us are fixers or givers, and then we want to receive with touch or affirmation. So, Aaron, which ways do you show love? And this also doesn't have to just be relationship. This can be friends, family. Like the way that I show, like, hey, I always go and help them mow the yard, or I go and I just have time and
Yeah, I'd
talk with
say
them.
I think it'd probably be a toss up between acts of service and physical touch.
Good. So that's how you show, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
Service and touch, and then how are your receiving ones? How do you want to receive love?
Uh, quality time. I'd say physical touch and words of affirmation. That sounds pretty good to me.
Good. Touch, words. Perfect. Well done. Cool. We're gonna the more I hang out with you, the more I'm gonna see if this six is really you. I'm gonna treat you as a six until it feels too weird. And then if it ends up being a four, it'll help me out a lot. So right now, we'll assume six. And then later on, if it's like because people mistype all the time, guys, just so you know, these tests are not like perfectly accurate. This is just a guideline. And right now you may be in the mindset of a six, but you could actually be a three or a nine. So we'll see what it ends up being. The more we hang out with you, you go, actually, this is really my core fear or my core desire or core motivation. And you're like, I'm actually this one. It happens all the time. This
Uh,
isn't gospel.
I'm uh, I'm shocked how revealing the Enneagram thing. Like, I didn't really think like fear of abandonment was a thing with me, but especially after kind of crushing that doubt thing, I, I, I'm seeing more that maybe it is. But honestly, the number four too. That I read through that. Like, I identify with some things there too. So it's a toss up. Who knows?
Well, six and four have a correlation to each other. So there, it shows healthy, unhealthy elements too. So it's not bad. It's just lets us know where you're at. And then we'll dig in deeper to see. But you have a lot of fear, and fear is the path to the dark side. So
Hmm.
you know this is where Darth Vader, there's a lot of fear in this one. That's why the relationships and the things, the way you have your life structured is based around protection systems, and it seems like the core is about worry. And we'll see.
Yeah, the Myers Briggs also revealed, how yeah, fear being a main motivator. I thought I was just, trying to be situationally aware. Come to find out, that's also part of my personality. There's a lot of value in doing that too, but
Hmm.
at the same time, anyway,
It's a protection system.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's designed like that for a reason, but it also goes against your goal. And that's why we're going to work together on like, well, what is it you want? And then rebuild it. So
Very
this is
good.
helpful,
Cool.
very helpful. Also, you guys know the difference between Myers Briggs and Enneagram. Myers Briggs is how you operate right now. Your Enneagram is why you do what you do. That's why I use these two different tools. They're two different things. One is a how, one is a why. And that's why it's helpful for me. So well done, Aaron. Good. We'll get into values later on. So good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Next up, who's unmuted? JR, you're unmuted. Doug, you're unmuted. So I'm gonna go with JR next. What's your Myers Briggs Enneagram love language?
All right. So my Myers Briggs is the campaigner.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
okay. Letter.
ENFPA.
Got it. Enneagram, you're seven, right?
7. Yep.
Did you know what the next numbers were or no?
I
It's
don't
okay if you don't.
remember.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
I just wrote down the 7.
Got it. And then main love languages.
The receive is physical touch and quality time.
Mm-hmm.
The give is also physical touch and words of affirmation.
Nice. Good one. Perfect. Well done. Awesome. Doug. Doug the Thug. All right. What do we got for your Myers Briggs?
The advocate, INFJ T for turbulent.
I think that's the most common one there is. All right, go ahead. What's your Enneagram?
Enneagram was a 2, followed by a 4. And then I've got the rest of the numbers if you want them.
No, 2 and 4 is helpful for me.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Love languages, words of affirmation and physical touch, ways at least I like to receive it. And probably the ways I like to show it is acts of service and gifts.
Perfect. That's well done. That's also very useful for your girl to know too. Which is also interesting to me is when women know this, why don't they just do it more? So we fucking win.
Because
Listen,
they don't want to.
well, it's kind of like saying like I just want to burn the world so that way I can have peace. And you're like, that makes burning world. What are you talking about? Andrea said some funny shit earlier that I think that if we did that training course for women, it'd be like, hey, give mouth hugs first, then have the argument, and then you guys can figure out what you need after that. But 95% of problems will be solved after a mouth hug. You beg first give him a blowjob, and then have a conversation, and you'll realize he's very agreeable and very understanding.
Yes, we need that training.
So, ladies, first you blow him, and then see what's going on. All of a sudden, it's like, no, everything I was upset about doesn't really matter, and I can't stay mad at you, and I really appreciate everything you do around here, babe. So thank you so much. And she'll be like, oh, of course, thank you, hon. Like, start with mouth hugs. I bet you end up having less fights.
Like the Aladdin song, A Whole New World.
Yeah, we just fixed the world, fixed it. All right, good
Because
job,
she
Doug.
just swallowed all your anger.
Yeah, it's just took the power, just fix the problems. All right, Michael.
All right, Myers-Briggs ENFP, campaigner.
Mhm.
Enneagram. Now, I took this twice when I first started. It was a 2-4, and then I took it, I guess, a couple weeks after, and then it became a 4-5. So I think when you told me before, you said I seemed more like a 2.
So far, you're in year 2, so we'll see. But you also got that. I think that you're 2 because you can see this morning when you get triggered, you go to 8. Your 8 comes out when you get cornered.
Yeah.
Which is fuck you, you fucking bitch. That's when that thing comes in. That's your 8 comes out. That's what happens when you corner a 2. Doug knows. He does the same thing.
I love my 8.
Yeah. Well, it's a
He's
separator
fun.
though. It's a separator though. It makes it so people
It
don't
is.
fuck with you, but it also makes it so people don't fuck with you. And you want people to be around you. And that's hard. It's a separator.
Yep.
All right. How do you like to show love?
So that's the love language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Physical touch is my love language.
That's frustrating. And then how do you like to receive it?
Probably the same.
Yeah, it probably is also telling of what you guys are lacking the most in your relationship too.
Well, it only gave me the one, so it didn't tell me. Like
Do a self-assessment. How do you like to show love the most then?
it's both. It's both.
You're
I can tell
you're a
you.
toucher.
I can tell you right off the top of yeah, without question. That's what.
Yeah. And let me guess, you're like you're riding through the desert on a horse with no name in the touch department, huh? Yeah.
Absolutely, 110%.
Yeah, you look like you're starving.
Yep.
We gotta get you some food. All right. Good job, Michael. All right. Next up, Leo. Leo. Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs, ENTP.
Me too, bro.
All right, yeah, debater.
Mm-hmm. And then what's your Enneagram?
4.
Main one is 4.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what is your way you like to receive and show for love? Your main
So
love language ones.
show is physical touch and quality time, and then receive quality time, words of affirmation. My top 3 are the same for both giving and receiving.
It's
Quality
good.
time, words, and physical touch.
Cool. It's just which orders of the like that
Yeah.
really fills my cup. You know, there's nothing right or wrong. It's just this is know thyself. And so it's like, oh, okay, those are important to me. You know, and then once you understand that about you, then you can have better conversations around like, you do know that's the way to get to my heart. You know that, right?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I realize is that like, or have seen is that like your your love languages shift over time and depending on the
Okay.
situation you're in, right? So like it might be true with one partner this way or one dynamic, but it'll be different with another dynamic. So
Yes, very true. And like Michael may not have always had touch be his main love language, but once you're starving, it becomes very important.
yeah, exactly.
I had a long distance relationship, and quality time was not my main one until I didn't have that quality time for a long time. And then it became very important to me. And so it went from number 3 to number 1 because I was starving.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I can say, Michael, you're starving. You're like, yeah, I just want the fucking touch. I'm like, well, when touch and words were my top ones, but then once I was in a long distance relationship and didn't have time, time became more important to me. You know, and so yes, they do change, Leo. Actually, this Myers-Briggs and love languages are liable to change often. So those ones will change depending on like the health that we get to also. Most of the guys, when we do this course, by the end of this, your Myers-Briggs is probably going to be a different thing. It's just because I operate differently now. You know, some may stay the same, but most change. You know, so it's kind of cool to know. Good job, Leo. All right, Derek. What is your Myers-Briggs, your Enneagram, and
All right. So the Myers-Briggs was actually fun because I did this last year and it was different. So last year it was INFPT.
mhm.
Then this time doing it, it was ENFPT, which not a whole lot of difference, it turns out. But
Well, you went from introvert to extrovert. That changed.
yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that was pretty neat. And then the Enneagram was number one was type 9, and 2 was type 4. And then love language, receive, it'd be quality time and touch. And then giving, it's usually acts of service and touch.
Perfect. Well done, Derek. Good job. And then we got Kyle. Kyle, what do we got for your Myers-Briggs Enneagram love language?
Yeah, my Myers-Briggs was ESTP-T. My Enneagram was type 3,
Mm-hmm.
followed by 2, and then 5 and 6 were both the same at 83.
No, I had you pegged as a 3 immediately, so makes sense.
Yeah. What's the so I heard you and I think one of the other guys mention their personality type was ENTP. Like, what's the difference between ENTP and ESTP?
The S and the N is one is like an intuition and one is sensing. You know, like they're just the way you guys sense the situation. It's an assessment of how you see the world. You can
Okay.
pull it up. You can just pull it up and see what each letter stands for. There's only 2 that it can be in those categories, and so it shows each one. So introvert, extrovert, sensing, and intuition. It gets into thinking or feeling, and then like there's like a perception and judgment. And so it just
Okay.
lets you know, like, well, which version of how do I assess things or how do I operate? It's a pretty clever system. It's really, like I said, though, it's been inconsistent for it changes as you evolve because you start doing things differently, and then how I am becomes different than I was. And so the how will start to change.
Right.
It's pretty cool to know where you started, though, because this gives you a good GPS location of here's where I'm at now, here's how I work. And then it works along with your chimera, it works along with your goals, it works along with the awareness of how do I operate now. And this becomes very useful for you to go, I see my default program, I see how I'm starting. This will fill in some of the gaps for you.
And then as far as love language, I think the way I receive it is definitely physical touch and words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way that I, give it is physical touch and, a pretty good mixture of quality time and gift giving. I feel like acts of service should be up there higher based on my wife, but
Based on what she likes to receive for love
right.
languages. Got it. Very good, guys. All right, now we're going to get into the harder stuff. Time to go back and time to do the hard stuff. All right, Aaron, we're going to go back to the top of the list and go back through the list again. Aaron, when
Okay.
it came down to your values, this is a tricky game to do. Figuring out our values, guys, this is a very difficult skill because it's never taught to us how to do it. So that's why this is a fun exercise, is we're going to challenge to see, is this truly the way that I operate for my values? Or what are my real values that may be even hard for me to discover? So I want to be able to
All
see,
right.
what do you got for your stuff? And then we're going to go through the different elements to be able to go like, all right, what are my true and main values? So what do you
Okay.
have for
By
your
the
top
way,
5?
for the record, I must have done this 3 or 4 different times trying to
It's
get this. Anyway,
it's
so
hard.
here
Yeah.
here's where I ended up. Number 1 is compassion. Number 2 is loyalty. Number 3 is wholeheartedness. 4 is kindness, and 5 is grace.
And these are all things that are showing compassionate, loyalty, wholeheartedness, kindness, grace as values. Is this coming from the fact that people aren't very nice to you?
Um,
Like how much of this comes from
I
like
don't think
people
that
weren't nice to me, and I value when
I,
people are nice to me.
I, I don't. I think people are currently nice to me, but I think people have not been nice to me in the past. Yes.
Exactly. So a lot of these like this, because this is usually when I see there's two different types of things I find with a list like this is usually shows people were really mean to you. Because everything on here is like be nice to me, be compassionate, be loyal, be wholehearted, be kind, be graceful. That just means people treat you like shit. And like I just wish you would have been fucking nice to me, motherfuckers. Be nice to me. And people weren't very nice to you. You know, and so this looks like a
Um,
wounds list. You also see whenever I see a guy who's like, I value honesty, integrity, loyalty, truthfulness. You're like, who cheated on you?
with going through the doubt thing that I did this week and kind of figuring it out, it's very much based in that and the feelings um, that let in doubt for me come very much from people not being nice to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a wound element here on this one. Um, what did you put as your top two most important?
Compassion and loyalty.
Now, why did you put those two as your top two? Why compassion is your number one?
Um, because I think that's sort of the crux of the things that has wounded me was lack of compassion, lack of understanding,
Yeah.
understanding that, hey man, I'm going through some shit. Like just chill a little bit rather than yell at me. Um, just understand that like, hey, I'm a fucking young guy. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, and I don't know what the fuck I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Loyalty probably has a lot to do with my dad leaving, frankly.
Yeah.
Feels like a pretty disloyal thing for somebody to do.
If you have people in your life who are loyal and they are good, what is it that you want from a dynamic that has loyalty?
What do I want from a dynamic that has
Like,
loyalty?
like let's say you have it. Now you're with people who are loyal and they are compassionate and loyal. Now you can have what? What would you have if you have that?
Safety.
All right, so I feel safe. I have safety now. And then if people are compassionate with me, I can be safe to share. I can be safe to be understood, and things will be more peaceful because I can be able to share with you and know that I have that support element. Is that true or not true?
True. Also, something I'd throw in there would be I'd be free to be authentic.
Yeah. Now, what would you be able to do if you had that authenticity freedom?
Um,
What would it open up for you if you like now that I can finally just be me, now I can have what?
Peace,
Peace.
um, happiness, confidence. Um, yeah.
All right. Now I have peace, happiness, confidence. I feel good. I feel good. And now that you feel good and I have a dynamic with loyalty and I'm feeling good about myself, now with that person, what can I do? What would be the most important thing to go? Now we can do the thing I've always wanted.
Well, it would allow me to be a leader. It would
Okay.
allow me to um, embrace my masculinity, I guess you could say. Um, it it would probably give me direction. It would give me purpose.
Having direction and purpose now makes you feel what?
Um,
I've got this taken care of. Things are going well. I'm happy, confident, good. I'm accepting of myself. And now everybody, we can feel like we are what?
Fulfilled, strong, um, satisfied, if there is such a thing.
Right. Well, the satisfying in which way? Like there's a thing here that happens to make it so now you guys can be authentic, accepting, understanding, at peace. there's an element here that seems like each of these are connected to something, and you said it earlier. I just want to see if it still comes back to it.
Ooh. Um,
I have all of these things taken care of, and now I can have this thing. Now we are all going to feel a certain way because I'm leading, accepting, authentic, understanding, and there is now peace. But peace only comes from what?
uh, Calmness.
Well,
Um,
the wholeness part, there was something that you needed. I'm going to point it out because you said it, and it seemed really important the way you said it. Is when you said I want safety. You said it's important, and I'm wondering if your leadership style of self acceptance of safety within self also has to do with the way that you try to make other people feel too. If I have a loyal person, an understanding person, and I can be authentic, the goal and purpose of my leadership is to create this feeling of safety. Does that is that like, yeah, that's fucking what I want because that brings peace. Safety brings peace, and I want fucking peace. But I have to feel safe. But right now I don't feel safe, and I wish I had safety, but I don't have it.
right. Man, that's for some reason I'm having trouble finding the words. What exactly is the question? Um,
Does that
oh man.
resonate? Does that feel like, yeah, no, that would be really good to
Oh
have?
yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Does
Absolutely. Those are
that
all good things.
that feels like, man, above these things, like I want peace, but in order to have peace, I need to make sure that people I'm safe and they're safe. I need this safety feeling, the support element of
Yes.
this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say so.
Okay. That feels like the right path. When you said that, it seemed like you lit up a little bit, and that's why I'm reading like there's something with this feeling safe thing that you don't have, but you would really, really enjoy it, and you value the safety that comes from loyalty. You value the safety that comes from people accepting you authentically, and you value that.
Yes. Yes, I do.
And I don't think you had it, and that's why you want it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Okay.
you're right.
Okay, so with this piece right here, I see that. Now there's a lot of kindness elements here. There's a lot of things here. And I want to kind of go into how do you operate when things are going very poorly? Like things are going bad. What type of systems would you say, like, man, things are going off the rails? What do you end up finding yourself like, man, I do this more than not when things are going poorly?
I quit.
Yeah, you give up and then do what?
Um, I wallow.
Hmm.
I do nothing. I steep into depression.
Cool. What? So you start doing some sort of a sabotaging system, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now that's what
Oftentimes.
so you'll start kind of going backwards, if you will. You'll start kind of tearing you down, right?
Hmm.
So what is the opposite of tearing you down? What would, if you're doing well, I'm doing what?
I'm building myself up. I'm growing.
Growing. Gotcha.
Um, I'm working.
And there's more of a progress element. So you can see when you're sliding backwards and when you're sliding forwards, one is a sabotage and one is a building.
Yes.
Okay, good. And so when you're in build mode, tell me what your mindset is when you're in build mode. How are you when you're like, when I do build mode, this is the way I build? Do you team up with people? Do you just do it alone? Like, how is your system of like, when it's time to grow, I do this?
Yeah. When it's time to grow, it's usually by myself. It's usually I've reached the moment, right, where I just can't stand not doing something in a certain area,
Hmm.
whether it's um, being lonely or working out. And Yeah, I usually go by myself, and I uh, I usually set forth a plan. I'm usually pretty dedicated, um, and I'm the kind of worker who's fine with taking things to the nth degree, so long as I'm properly motivated.
Would you say is more important to you? The discipline element of like the self-discipline and the hard work, or the progress in growth element? What's more important? Like I love the growth or I love the discipline. Both important, but which one would be more important?
Yeah. Probably the discipline.
You like the discipline, the hard work ethic. I like doing the hard work because hard work gives me
Yeah.
growth, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So here's what I have for your main ones right now with the way that your system works when things are going right and wrong.
Mhm.
Is it seems like self-discipline is extremely important to the way that you operate. You will be very disciplined. And then it seems like there's a discipline element of when it's not going well, you seem to punish yourself. And there's a big system of value around discipline with you, both positive and negative. This seems to be like a core piece of like discipline, both in a positive way and negative way, is a core way that you create systems around how you operate. There's a discipline element, self-discipline, both ways, self-discipline, self-punishment, great growth. And so you're doing something with self-discipline. The other one, though, is what you really seek, and a very high value of you seems to be around safety. I just want to feel like I'm okay. I want to feel like we're good and I can be all right. And I want loyal people, compassionate, nice people. So that way we can be safe to be ourselves.
Yeah, very much.
All right. So safety and self discipline, do those feel authentic to you?
Yeah.
Those feel good?
Yes.
Okay, good. You're like, if
Mhm.
I could have those two, that would be really fucking nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
So those are your main two values is safety and self discipline, bro. Well
Okay.
done. Pretty crazy. You guys can see
Thank
how
you.
this works, right? Nobody ever gets it right the first time. But
That's crazy.
when I follow the path of what are the things that are important to you, it shows me how do you operate and what do you do and how do you work. And so, yeah, it seems like your main motivations are around I need to create safety, not just for yourself, but for others. And that's why you work on the self discipline of proficiency to create safety for others and you. And you haven't had it. So it's a really scary thing. There's a lot of fear around letting people in because it won't be safe if I let you in. So I don't let you in.
It's weird. All of a sudden, just we going through that self discipline. I know there's going to be a portion where we go back to talk about what we used to want to be as kids and things like that. And when I first started martial arts back in the day, and I was doing Taekwondo and it's not very effective, but and our guy used to have us rip off hundreds of push-ups in an hour. And
Mm,
anyway, but it was always a self-discipline thing that I love. He's like, we're making you disciplined, and I love that more than learning any roundhouse kick or anything else.
that's
It
awesome.
was that's amazing. Anyway, great.
Well,
I'll
well
see the
done,
floor.
man. Good job, man. Good job around this. Now, this is cool. When we get to boundaries, this is also when people try and fuck with your safety and they try and fuck with your self discipline. This is also where you go, like, I'm not going to compromise these areas. This is also where you'll start doing the first wave of healthy boundaries so that people can't take your safety and they can't mess with your discipline. Otherwise, it starts knocking everything off the rails. And so this will be the first area where you go, like, I'm a little disagreeable in these areas. And this is later on very useful when you have dynamics that go like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And you're like, that fucks with my main values. And I'm not going to compromise that area. So I'll disagree. So this is cool for later to know thyself. So that way it's tougher to mess with you in areas that you know, don't mess with me here. Very, very useful. Well done, Aaron. Good job. Safety and self discipline. All right, JR. Let's get in. Let's figure out what were your top 5 main values.
Okay. The top 5, health, freedom, family, financial stability, and hope.
All right, cool. We're gonna take freedom off because it's one of my 3 I took off at the beginning because you
Oh,
can't have any of them without freedom.
all right. Take freedom off.
All right, give me another one out of your top 10 that you're like that one's really important.
The self-discipline.
All right. Now, what was your top 2?
I put my top 2 as financial stability and family.
Money and family. All right. Now, why did you put money as one of your top ones?
Mm,
If
I
I have money, what would you be able to do? Let's give you money. All right, JR, all the bills are paid and you have tons of money. All right. Now, what will you do?
I have freedom.
All right. Now, freedom to do what? What is the thing that you want to do most? What is freedom so important for?
To make choices based on like what I desire versus what I can afford.
All right. What do you desire?
I desire to I desire to give things to my wife and children. I desire to have like more space for myself. I desire to um be able to like grow my influence and my ability to make more money.
Okay, cool. So this gives you the ability to create more, not just like the growth of your own influence, but also create more for I can provide an element for my family. And when your family is good, you've provided for them. What is the desire you have for the family? What do you like most? Like the family thing that I love the most is
The family thing I love the most is like the I think about creating traditions. I think about
what's a tradition create though? Now we have a tradition, so we can have what?
um I guess happy memories
All right, and happy
and
memories do what with each other? We got happy memories together, which creates what thing that's important to you?
connection.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so we got this connection element. The reason I'm doing all of this is because I want connection with my people. And is there anything deeper to you or feeling more meaningful to you than the connection with people that you love? Like that feels good. Like the connection. I love feeling connected with my people, with
I
Audie
think
and the girls, like that connectedness of tradition, of the element of safety, security we have around finances makes it so we can now be at peace to connect and love.
yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, good. So that's why I see this big piece here. Now, that's the part for like why family was because actually my core value is connection. And all choices I make is around increasing the strength of the connection of our family. So
Hmm.
connectedness seems highly important. Now, the providing element of it, there's an element here of that freedom. That freedom was because now there's also this dream element. Now that your family is solid and everybody is good, and I have my dream, my thing. What are some of the things that are important to you when it comes to the fulfillment of like this makes me happy doing it because like what are the things like wow right now we're on this journey, what are some of the things that get you the most inspired or excited about?
The things that inspire me and excite me are when I see people like have the realizations that I had at one point, like the pay it forward type of deal where I see guys make the connections and then make the changes and start to see the results
Hmm.
that they want.
So when you start seeing progress and results, that makes you go like, "Oh my god, I fucking love that."
Yeah.
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 Now, this purpose that you have in this of creating a better place by just seeing like, man, look how much better people are doing. Look how much better people are doing. Is there anything beyond that that feels deeper than just like I love the progress of this?
Um,
Feels like that just feels good, right?
yeah, I'm not sure. There might be something deeper there, like as to like why I
Hmm.
enjoy that.
Let's see. Is there something deeper than like just the joy of growth and progress makes me like the results of seeing like, look how good things are going? Is there something underneath that? Something like now that I have this growth and people, is it because now it creates things? I wonder if there is the community element of like now that people are growing, we can create collaboration, we can create community. Does that feel better to you than like I love the community part more than just I love watching the growth and the development and the results of my hard work.
I think the community aspect probably, I think that is probably true, and it kind of comes back to like the family thing, where like the most important thing to me in my life and what was always like preached to me as a child was like family over everything. Like Sunday dinners every week, 30, 40 people, anyone who has a friend or a new girlfriend or whatever, like that's there was a community there. There was a bond. And those memories are like ones that are like very cherished to me when I look back and important to me.
Yeah, and that's the connection element and all of those things is I'm connected by this. That's the connection piece. I'm
Yes,
still
yeah.
interested. What do you have to bring to the table? What's the thing that makes you like feel worthy of having this type of connection and community? Like
Mm.
that's where I'm watching you do this. Like there's a thing around the progress, the results of watching my hard work be good. Like you provide a thing. When I'm around, this is important. I bring this to the table and it feels good.
I feel like when I can give hope, um, I think that's a part of it. When I can give,
When somebody is like, man, JR, you've given me hope now. What is it you love to see when they feel like I've got a chance now? I've got hope. I've got the possibility. My potential is coming back. What do you love to see about that? What makes you feel happy? That guy's got hope. Dude, there's a chance for me. I see it. How does that, what part of that makes you feel like, yes? What do you like to see him do? I guess let's ask it differently. When he has hope, you watch him do something that like I'm very proud of.
mm, I'm not sure. I feel like you know the answer and you're trying to guide me to it, but I'm not clear on it.
I'm more trying to confirm something you said multiple times. So I'm just seeing if it really is that or not.
Okay.
Like,
What?
hey, this guy's doing really well. He's got hope now. You've like he's not in hell anymore, and now he's on the grind. Now,
Mhm.
which part of that makes you go like, yes, I love watching that part of the journey? Like, which part do you enjoy the most? Do you like watching him, hard work? Do you like watching him do a self-expression? Do you like watching the progress that he's making? Like, which part is like, do you like the fun of it or the which part of it like makes us like this really, that's my favorite part of watching a guy who's got hope.
I think it's like the results, like the success that I see come
Good.
out of them.
That's what I was looking at. It keeps coming to like, do you see the results of the work? The growth element of it seems like I love watching them get better. Look at the results of what we're doing. Every time we're doing it, it gets better.
So the results and the growth.
It seems like that's around everything. Once you have your connection element, it's like now it's time to improve.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like in just watching how you operate, it's like, okay, this is good. Now let's get better here. This is good. Now let's level up here. Hey, this is good. And I want to raise my stats in this. And the progress element, just because I've talked to you a lot, I also see this progress element has been very important to you in every training I've watched you do.
Hmm.
Like you like level up your stats, level up your stats, level up your stats, and that growth, growth, growth. And that's why I just see you often bring it into that element of like, are you getting better today than you were yesterday?
Yeah.
Just as your teaching style. That's what I see.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. That's it. It's the constant, the growth element, like better than you were yesterday, elevating your stats, finding the problem, and let's figure out how to grow that in that area. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Now you see it. Yes, that's what it looked like from this part. And you can see how you just lit up like, yep. Yes. Like that's the thing. For you, it's not really fair. I spend a lot of time with JR, so I already knew his shit before he got into it. So it's just getting you to discover it too. And by seeing the family element, whenever anybody says family or faith or finances, that's never their core piece. Just so you guys know, it's never their thing. The reason you love family is because you love connectedness. I love to feel connection. And so you base a lot of your choices around connection, not necessarily that, people are around, but that way we have memories and traditions and love and connectedness through that. And that's the value you have. And then everything that you do on self and or for the contribution seems to be surrounded around growth and the progress and improvement of those around you.
What's the difference between like connection and love?
Love is undefinable. That's why I took it off the list.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can't tell me what it is. That's why it's not on here. And see at the bottom, I said I took freedom, trust, and love off the list because people can't tell me how that shit works.
Okay.
You need freedom. If we get into a trust conversation, I can do 7 hours on trust. So there's that. Hey. And so that's why I have to take some of these off. Also, respect is a tricky one for me too, because a lot of people don't know what it is. They just want it, but I can't tell you what it is. And that one's a tricky one. But growth and connection seems like your main ones. JR, does that feel authentic?
Feels right. Yeah,
Fe-
thank you.
Feels right. All right, good job. Well done. You guys are seeing how this works, right? Pretty interesting shit. You're like, I thought I had it. I thought I had it. But nobody ever does.
You told me nobody ever does, so I just assumed I didn't have it. And then
I was like, I'll do my best, but we'll find it.
I didn't even put like I just the 10 that like stuck out to me most. I was like, there we go. Here's the 2 I think because of this, and I'm sure they're wrong.
Well, it's all right. It's just good to like ask the questions and dig in to find it.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. This is also one of the more difficult things for my coaches to do. They're like, how the fuck are you doing this? I'm like, you just have to let them drive and just see where they go.
Yeah, a lot of patience there.
Well, I don't control it. I just ask the questions to see which turns do you make until it gets to like, I like that place. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's very helpful. All right, Doug the Thug. Good job, JR. Doug
Thanks.
the Thug. Let's see what you got. What are your top 5?
What you say? Top 5?
Yeah.
Well, before I go into that, I started doing the list as you said, and then I actually went back and looked at the list a little differently, thinking about what gets me out of bed every day, and then looked at the list of values. So it got a little funky, but I'll give you what I think is the top 5: financial stability, wellness, achievement, contribution, and recognition.
And what did you put as your top 2?
So this is where, when I did the top 2, looking at the list the way you said to just do it, I had financial stability and wellness. When I looked at what gets me out of bed every day, it was, I'm sorry, the financial stability and wellness was what gets me out of bed every day. But I had achievement and contribution uh, when I just looked at the list flat out without any qualifiers.
So is it money or health, or is it achievement and contribution? Which one would you put as your top 2?
I think money and wellness.
Money and wellness.
It's
All
where
right,
I spend most of my time.
cool. If you have money, what do you get?
I
Right.
get security.
All right, now I'm secure. Security now that things are safe and things are secure, we don't stress about money. Money's just not even a worry anymore. All right. Now you're secure and safe, and you can do what?
I'm going down the same road as JR. I guess freedom would be, right? It's that financial freedom.
Yeah, but we have freedom. You have it. You can do whatever you want now. There's no stress around it. Now that I can do anything, what would be now I can do the thing I always wanted to do? What would you want to do now that you can do it without stress?
Travel.
All right, travel. Just alone, or just you want to just go by yourself to stuff, or travel with your wife, kids,
I don't
anybody?
know. Jury's out on that one.
Okay. So that's what's interesting about it. And this is maybe just relationship thing aside. So it's not important for you to be with anybody. You just want to go see stuff.
I want to have the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it. and not
Cool.
have to worry about the money.
Right. So there's a stress element here. Now, what I'm saying is let's remove the stress because money is just a thing. Now you have it. What's important to you now that that's not what you're like? Money's not a value. There's a thing that you get from having it that is value. You know what I mean, right? Like if you're on a desert island, money would
Mhm.
become how you start your fires.
Right.
It wouldn't be how you there's no value to it unless you have a social construct with an agreement. Money doesn't mean shit, but
Right.
if you have now, I can do whatever I would like to do. That shows you what's important to you. So what's really important to you when money's not a stress?
It's freedom.
To do what? You're not in jail, so you're already winning. What would you want now that you can do anything that you choose? What would be like, man, I always wanted to do this. Now travel to do what? Go see stuff, touch things, take photos. Like, what's cool?
I don't know. I have to think on that.
Well, so since we're hitting a dead end on this way, I don't think that's one of your core values because there's no passion in this area. It's just this comes from a stress point. And any of you guys who are financially stressed out, this is going to be like it was important to me because I don't have it. So let's go a different route on this one. I want to start with this achievement and contribution. That seems more important because I think like I just don't want to stress about money is not a value. That comes from a pain point. But what's something that's important to you? This achievement thing. Why did you put achievement on this is very important to you? What do you get when you achieve? How do you feel?
Actually, I didn't look at it as myself achieving, but how I actually view others, like what I value in. I guess I was probably thinking about my kids at this point, or maybe outside of myself.
Sure. Okay.
Um,
So if they're doing well, what does that do? What does that mean?
yeah, I mean, if they're achieving, then they're doing well. And it's not about wins and losses. It's about, as you say, it's about effort. Um, it's about setting goals, not to win, but what's the goal for this particular thing? How are we improving? What's that incremental step that we're making?
Now, they're trying to improve. In which way do you try to support the most? In which way is it? Do you give them information? Do you give them resources? Do you give them encouragement? Like, what's your main way that you
Yes.
go like, hey, here's what I'm going to help you with on your side. They're doing the effort, but your support comes in which form?
Probably cheering them on,
Okay, so
letting them
encouragement.
know I believe in them.
Okay. So then we're going to cheer them on. Now, when you're doing this, what are you getting from that relationship? Well, how do you feel like this relationship gets what when I'm a cheerleader? What fills you up? What do you get from that?
I feel like we're in this like symbiotic relationship where I'm cheering them on and they're improving, and I'm cheering them on and they're improving, and we're moving in a direction towards something.
Cool. So you love the progress element of like, in tell me if this like it feels good when we're doing it together. Like when we're together,
Yes.
like you have a thing, they have a thing. And whenever
Yep.
you're working on any projects, does it make you feel best to work with people on the projects?
Depends on who they are.
No. I just mean like
Yeah.
like aside from add fucking asshole. I mean like no, I like working with people generally as long as they're not an asshole. Like if it's
Yes.
going well, I like
Yep.
working with people more than just I don't nobody works with me.
Right.
Like
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I had teamwork very close up on the list, so it sounds like they're maybe connected there.
there's a thing there. And this is where I'm wondering if like a collaboration thing is valuable to you because when you're
Yes.
working with your kids, you're not doing it for them, but you love doing it with them.
Yes.
And so being a team there, like the collaboration element seems like, man, I love that part of it. And also there seems to be like a starving element of like, will you please just try because that makes it so our team and our collaboration is more powerful.
Yeah. 100%. I love collaboration as well.
Yeah. And that seems to be really associated to like this contribution element that you have. Is it like it's because I can give my piece, they can give their piece, and when they have effort, then we have the achievement that we would love to have. It has that like this growth element or this fulfillment element. Does that seem like, yeah, that feels good?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you are very team oriented. And that's probably why the recognition thing has been so, such a bummer to you, because you like to collaborate, but you also want to have some sort of like, hey, appreciate me for this.
100%.
Yeah. And so there's something to the appreciation that you're getting. Now, when you feel appreciation, like what part of you fills up the most? Like, now that I'm appreciated, I feel like
I feel seen.
seen. Okay, seen. And seen is a value for what? Now that you're seen, is there an evaluation of you? Is there a
I
praise of you?
exist, right?
Well, you do exist. It's just, how do you
Mhm.
feel when you are highly appreciated? Of course you exist, but it's like, well, how do you feel when you feel strong, when you feel good, when you feel achievement, when you feel like the team has won and we just won? Like, what's the thing that, like, I love that feeling the most?
I guess that something that we all worked toward came to fruition.
I see the collaboration, but we all work towards something and we have the achievement element where we have a victory thing. But I think that it matters how you did it. There's this thing in here I'm catching, that it matters how you did it, not just winning, because if you have to shit on you to win, you don't like that.
Mhm.
No, there's some other piece here. What's the missing piece that I'm like, look in there, and what's the thing where, like, I like this, I value this the most when we do these victories. I don't know if it's the inclusion. I don't know if if it really is because of the win. Like,
No, the inclusion is actually important. When you said it earlier, it's like my analogy in my head was, so I catch the winning touchdown pass and everybody celebrates the quarterback, right? And I'm standing in the end zone by myself,
yeah.
right? And that's often how it feels at work, um, you know,
Hmm.
and so that feels like shit.
Yeah. What would be the missing piece for you there? Like, man, they're just not doing this thing that would have made it feel good.
I guess the celebration
Yeah. So
in,
there's a
in that
celebration.
situation,
Now when you're
re-
celebrated, like, I see that
recognition.
the quarterback did his part, the receiver did his part. Hell yeah. Now you're recognized. Now that you have this recognition, what do you do with it? I feel I got it. I have it. Now that I have achieved recognition, now that I'm seen, appreciated, included, and loved, I have the recognition. What do you get? Now I have it.
I'm going to say the word respect.
All right, and respect. Now this is a judgment that people make of you that goes, you are good.
Right? You're worthy.
You're worthy. So when you get that, it makes it so you get your value from other people's opinions in this case. There's a missing piece here. There's something that's right there, Doug. I'm gonna see if I can push you into it a little bit. There's something I feel like is a layer deeper than this. There's a core thing. There's something happening, and it feels like it really does fall around the approval element, to be loved, to be accepted.
Mm.
There's something in here where it's like this missing element there. Like, I'm collaborating, but it's because I belong and I'm appreciated and I'm accepted. There's a thing that's here. And how does it feel? I think there's a wound here. That's why this is hard. And I think that's why it's important to you, because in this area, both in both work and at home, the piece that's the most valuable to you has been starved.
Mhm.
How are you feeling when I'm saying this?
No, I think you're right. I think I'm stuck. There's something else there. I think I said it last week. So I've played sports my whole life, and I think part of it, I do love it, but also part of it is it's where I'm most accepted in my life.
Yeah.
It's where I'm most respected in my life. When I walk onto an athletic field or court or whatever, um, how people saw me off the court and how they see me, you know, in sport is different. You know,
What did you
yeah,
like more when they saw you in sport? Like what was like I really like this feeling.
yeah, belonging,
Yeah.
contribution, respect, probably respect. I mean, I think it comes back. It's always this
It's not respect.
acceptance.
It's not
Okay.
respect. No, no, no. You said it a few times. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
I already had it written down. I just wanted to confirm when you kept saying it. There's a belonging. I need to belong and feel like you have purpose in place, like you belong.
Mhm.
And whenever you're doing collaboration, you get belonging, and you have value and purpose. When it is something that you're working on with other people, it makes it so that you are worthy, good, valued, necessary, loved. Does that feel right?
Yeah.
I think your core thing is around, and this goes into your leadership style too, is that you're meant to operate within groups because you do a very good job of collaboration, but it also gives you that missing element, the thing that you value the most of having a place that you belong and that you're appreciated and you're loved. And we'll work through the parts that have goofed up this area for you because I think you've been trying to force it instead of be it. And I'll show you the difference on this one as we go further on our journey here. So you can go, oh, dang, that's the part I was goofing up to get the thing that mattered the most, which is belonging, and then being able to team up and collaborate with people I care about for some sort of a greater purpose. The together we're stronger element thing.
Mhm.
Does that feel authentic? I'm not trying to push it.
The collaboration part for sure. The belong, appreciation, loved. Um, yes and no. I think I'm stuck on the belonging part because I've never been somebody in my life who felt like I didn't. I don't know if I'm right on that, whether or not I really belonged. Like I've never. I don't know. Maybe yeah, skip that. Maybe let me think on that a little bit more. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, well, wait a second.
Chew on it for a little bit. It seems really important.
Hmm.
And just chew on it for the week. And look, I think it's something that you always wanted, but for some reason there's always some sort of hiccup that would happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a level of sabotage that's in there. And we'll
Hmm.
get into that. Once we start opening nasty boxes, we'll see what goofs this area up. But I think you may be created to make spaces for people to be together. And you do best in those environments because when you're unseen, unnoticed, unrecognized, and feel like nobody's paying attention to me, like you feel like you're just not included, you don't belong, and it bothers you the most when you're not given like the dignity or the respect that you would say around it. But respect is a judgment. It's not. That's just
Hmm.
an assessment that people give, and we'll get into that later on. But
Yeah, what you just said there sounds 100% true. Yeah.
okay, that just chew on that for a while. But right now I have you as collaboration and belonging seem to be the main reasons and main values for how you make your choices.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, just chew on it. Like, and
Yep.
happy to come back later to go, dude, I thought about it. And it wasn't necessarily that, it was because of this. And like, I'm cool to go, like, good, good. Cause this is know thyself. So I'm giving you things that I just see the patterns of. And
Hmm.
then you challenge it and see if it goes further or if that's truly like, yeah, that's really it. That's important.
Got it. Thanks.
Good job, Doug. Yeah, this is hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was money and health. Turns out I just love belonging and teaming up with people. That's how I make all the choices I make. Interesting shit, right?
Yeah.
Not money. It's never money, guys. Just so you guys know, it's never money. It's only when we don't have it that that's a bother. And then when you have it, you're like, oh yeah, I don't think about it. Just saying, money gets you stuff. It's just
Yeah.
stuff, though. It's just stuff. All right. Speaking of money gets you stuff, Michael, let's rock and roll. You do not tell me you have finance as your first one.
I do not. All right, my Southern Oracle is big into this shit.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. What are your top five?
All right, I have no, I I've vacillated a lot on all this stuff, trying to say, is this things that I should have as my values, things I should focus on, or things just trying to kind of get to what they actually are. So
Mhm.
I think for me, it was connection is my number one, gratitude, family, self-respect, and spirituality.
And you said that connection was your number one. What's the next one?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. And why did you pick gratitude?
I picked gratitude because gratitude, from what I've learned, is the quickest way to cut through fear. When you're grateful, you can't be afraid. Um, and also that whole law of attraction thing. If you're not grateful, you're not going to attract it. And the more grateful you can be, the quicker you attract it.
Okay, cool. So you're attracting things in from gratitude. What kind of things do you want to attract?
I'm not going to say money because
Well, that's just a thing. But I'm just saying, like, all right, I want to do the things that are the most important to you. Now that I'm doing a gratitude of to pull into my life, what are things that you want into your life? This would be very, very awesome.
well, thing that's really important to me and my family right now, it's, I mean, I don't want to say stability, but we have a dream of getting a bigger house, having a farm, building a bigger studio. So these are all the things I want to be grateful for, so that way I can provide for um, you know um, future generations.
Cool. All right. So now you have the space. You did it. You have a farm, you have a studio, you have the stuff. Now, what are you going to do with all these things?
Well, I mean, with the farm, it's multiple things. We're gonna have the business that gives us the financial stability. But one of the things we always wanted to do with the farm, just wanted to teach people how to um, grow their own food, how to be sustainable. We always had a dream of having a dog rescue, calling it the dog range. And we always jokingly said that we could never foster because we'd end up with 100 dogs that we owned. It's just we always want to give as much as we can. So that's why we want to make as much money as we can, so we could give most of it away and help people.
What do you feel the most when you're doing giving? Even if it's not just, is it only when you give financial things to people you feel good, or
No,
when you give other
no,
things? All right.
time. Just happiness is contagious. It's I've always heard that giving is self-serving, and it's almost can't think of the word. Um, um, Not greedy, but it's I don't feel that way. I feel like when I'm truly giving, I'm not really thinking of myself at all. I'm just in the moment, and to see how you're helping other people, and to see like the light return in their eyes, or to be doing good. It is gratifying, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like that, not love, but it's hard to explain the feeling of giving.
I think you're doing good. Keep doing this. Like, there's a personal fulfillment to your generosity, something that when I give, it does make me also, it fills my cup by helping fill others' cups, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of too why I overly give with the kids. It's they're always asking for things, and I'm always more than happy to give it. But then I also have trouble with my boundaries, where I say, all right, guys, it's a little too much. Time to go to bed now. Oh, Dad, can you come downstairs and do this thing? But I'm upstairs now, and then vice versa. So it's there needs to be boundaries set. But it's I enjoy getting them a cup of water when they're already in bed, so they don't have to get up and do it for themselves. It's just I see their appreciation. I see it gives that that warm fuzzy feeling, like, oh, I just got them this thing they needed, and now they're set for the night. It's
I see it. And then, so everything that you're doing, it seems to be like the more I can do for others, the more it feels good. Like that's like what I do. It's like I
yeah,
love to be able to be there and help people.
yeah.
Got it. All right. So then I got this element of it. Now you wrote connection. Connection
Mhm.
is your thing. This giving back, this fulfillment thing that you're getting, and you wrote connection as your number one. Why
Yeah.
connection is your number one?
I think connection is kind of the root of everything. It's, I was conflicted with family, with all these other things, but it's almost like everything falls under that connection. It's important for me to have that connection with family. It's important for me to have that connection with friends. It's important for me to be there for other people. And it just seems like, even physically with my wife, it all comes down to connection.
Mhm. So now that
Whether
you have
it's
connection,
physically, spiritually, there's different ways to connect.
let's make all the bonds strong. The connection points are all solid. Now things are good. What achievement do you get now that all connections are strong? What would be the feeling of like, now I feel so good? In what way? We have connections and connections are good.
It's I I strive to stay complete. It's that whole balance, that mind, body, spirit thing. It's, if you can get all those connections healthy.
Yeah, there's a balance thing, right?
Mhm.
And does that feel like really like, man, just to have the balance, like the connections so strong and so good. I just need to keep things very balanced at the moment.
Yeah, which is funny because my wife being a Libra, her life is, she always, all the time, she's like, it's all about balance.
Well, she says that, but she creates chaos. So that's what's funny is that's probably why it's so important too. But that connection is goofed up because it's messing up the need for now, is there something more important than balance between all of your connections, or would balance really be like that's really the goal? Like, is it something different?
It's I don't know. I think it all boils down to, I don't want to say even serenity, but it's that it all comes down to love and balance, I guess.
So the connectedness will bring balance, which will then bring serenity.
Yeah,
And so if I can have serenity, balance is a big part of that. So we can have this connectedness because really, truthfully, I just want to make it so our family just feels, like you said, stable and has serenity.
yeah. It's a world without stress and drama, and love and connectedness would be, and serenity would be awesome.
Yeah. So you brought up stability and balance multiple times, which do you feel like one of those words is stronger, or does serenity kind of encapsulate both?
I think serenity encapsulates both.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So my two words I have for you, for your main values, okay, are serenity and service. It seems like every single choice you make is surrounded around being of service to others, and that gives you fulfillment, personal fulfillment. The more I do for others, the more I serve, the more fulfilled I feel. True or not true? That feels good.
True, absolutely true.
Yeah. So most of the systems for how do I make things better around others is for service. And if I am of service, then we can work towards serenity and we will be balanced, stable. There will be peace. So that way we can build dreams, teach, and give back.
Absolutely.
Cool. Serenity and service, brother. Those are your main values.
Thank you.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. It's neat to do this. You're like, okay, damn, those are my main things. But does it feel authentic? Do those feel good? If I can have serenity and then be of service, now I feel complete. This feels good.
Feels perfect.
My dude. Good job. Well done, Michael. Well done.
Thank
Cool. All right, Leo. All right,
Yeah.
brother. Let's see what you got. What are your top
Okay.
five?
Top five. So the thing is like anyway, I'll just do it as I finished it, not as I've changed it now that I've heard your paths. Success, family, kindness, confidence, and integrity.
All right, what did you put as your top two?
I put my top two as family and success, but I know that's not it at this point.
You know that. So if you were to change these into like what would be most important about these things? Like it's
So
it's pretty easy. If you're successful, what do you get? And if
right. I had like a list. So how I did it was like if I put a list of words behind success. So like power, respect, security, safety, health, growth, excellence, personal fulfillment, greed, making a difference, legacy, leadership. I think
In that list, that's a good list. In that list, pick two or three that like those are my main three on that list.
I really liked like the making a difference, legacy, personal fulfillment. I think those are all related. And then like respect, leadership, security, that's another theme.
Why
And
security?
uh well, I mean, because like I know that like money is a proxy for security.
That's just one element though. There's multiple pieces for being secure, like security. It's not financial, it's just one out of like six things. Why security for you?
I mean, I think it was just like quote unquote just having enough is like
To do
like
what?
so yeah, what would you do if you had enough money?
What would
So
you
I
do if
would
you have it?
probably, if I didn't care about money, I would probably just work out all the time, travel. Uh I
All right,
think
you're dead sexy and you've seen all the sights. All right, what is the purpose for those things?
and then that's like legacy, feeling important.
Okay, like a significance thing.
Yeah.
All right. Now your significance is important to you. Now, what value do you have around significance that seems very important? Is it
Around I mean the
is it
success was
well, if you have to compromise who you are as a person to be successful, does that really feel like success?
oh like if I have to like
Yeah, you
do
have to compromise your integrity, compromise
that doesn't feel good.
your authenticity in order to be significant. Does that feel right?
No, yeah, like building to like a significant, right? And so that's why I was thinking like growth.
All right, good. So I see the growth thing, but I think for you, what I'm reading on you is it's important the way you do the growth. You can't
Yeah,
just say growth. It seems like there's more of it's got to be done
like hard work,
my
like
way.
yeah, like hard work. Yeah, and that's anyway. I could yes, my
But you
way,
got your style
whatever.
though. No. But
Yeah.
my way doesn't mean inauthentic. Like your authentic way is still beneficial and good. So it's not a judgment.
No. I was just more thinking that like more of like stubbornness as sort of like my way, like not anyway. But anyway,
No. Yeah, that's one direction. But I actually think is there's an authenticity to your
oh
way.
yeah, definitely. That's a authenticity is definitely like a and like right like under integrity was like honesty, humility, justice, self-discipline, accountability, like those are all like
Now, but a lot of those are subjective because justice, we can make up new laws right now. So like this is where it gets interesting. So this is where I'm seeing something with your significance and authenticity. There's something here where these are very important and the way you're doing it seems to matter.
yeah, I mean like I know that I definitely know I have like a lot of stories around like self-worth and like being good enough, and
Yeah.
then I know that like ooh, so that's like so so that's like important, and that or just like core pillars, and then just hard work has also definitely been like a, for better or worse, been like a core tenet of working up or just growing up in life, and that's
Yeah, but
um
it seems there's like a results thing here though.
well
Like
I think the results I think the answer is like if I have results then I'll feel good enough. I know that's not the way it's supposed to work or is
no.
gonna
It's okay to let's follow it because we may find the thing that is useful.
sure
Like if I have results, I may feel good enough. Now it goes like feel good enough
for
for
what
what? Like
like loved, accepted, respected.
to feel seen, to feel appreciated. But
Yeah.
I'm getting a read on you, Leo, that like it can't just be blanket. It's gotta be
Yeah.
done this cool way.
A
There's like a
cool.
vibe here where like it's gotta be done this
It
way.
would
Like
be, I mean, it would be, yeah, I mean, of course, if it was like, if it was done like a significant, like cool, like intelligent, competent way,
yeah.
then, you know, that play towards like, yeah, to my particular style, quote unquote, or capability, like uniqueness.
Yes, that's what I'm catching. There's a uniqueness to the way you're doing this. There's something that's different on this that like it can't be blanket. That wouldn't work for you. It can't be generalized. It's got to be like it's unique. It's custom. It's
And that, yeah, it's, yes, there are quote, yeah, like the trodden path is not.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. You got your, that's why I said this authenticity or uniqueness is like loud with you. Where it's like
Yeah.
it's gotta be my own way. It's can't be, I'm not going with the herd. I got my own
Oh,
path.
yeah. It definitely needs to be like unique and different and like and for better or for worse, yes, it needs to be unique and different.
Yeah,
So
but the uniqueness itself, I'm still circling around this authenticity for you. It's got to be like, it's Leo's special way. That's my style. That's my way I do
being
it.
different, I don't, but like I don't, I mean, like being different is also like is a thing with me. Like I do not like being, you know, I just don't like, yeah, I don't like being like other people for
Mhm.
whatever. I know what the reasons are. Like I was bullied a lot. So then like for being different, so then I sort of embraced being different. And that's sort of like a thing now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so but I don't know if that's like a value. Like what's
Well,
so
it
like
is a value. It definitely
being
is a
unique is a
value.
value to be unique.
Well, think about it. It makes you nonconformist. And if you're nonconform, you can
Oh yeah, I'm
create
definitely
beautiful
non-conformist.
things.
I'm definitely non-conformist.
You
Yeah.
know, and so yeah, being unique or being able to accept your authenticity makes it so you can create things that other people would put limitations on, and you don't have those limitations.
Yeah, I like to think I don't have limitations.
Right. And so that's why that like again around this area, it's for me, it's just loud to me. There's like something here where like you got your style. Like there's a thing that's like my authentic way, and I don't give a fuck if it's like I like being different from you guys, but there's also a thing though. You like being different, but you also like being accepted for being different. And that's the weird thing here with the significance with your differences. Like I like being different. I don't want to be like everybody else, but I also like being liked for being different.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to go back to the list.
Well, it may not be a list. I'm going in your
Where-
heart right now.
I want to
Like
be accepted for being different. I mean, that's I don't,
I
but
know it's an
that's
oxymoron, but you still like it.
I think that's related to like legacy, either right? Because it's sort of like to be to be known, like to be known for like being like a trailblazer or something like that.
Cool. Okay, so my significance is remembered through life because I went my own authentic and unique path. And
Correct.
so like that's something to be admired, something to be praised, something to be like appreciated.
Yes, all those things.
Yeah. And so that's why I say the significance of the way you're doing it seems very important. Like I'm doing it my way, but I also want you to value that.
Correct. I don't have a word for that.
That's significance and authenticity. These are my main like it's
Oh,
I'm
significant.
trying to get away from these words, but everything keeps
Okay.
hitting the same words.
Okay. Sig okay, significance and authenticity.
The success means I am successful, so now I'm gonna do it. You're gonna do it your own way. You're gonna march to your own beat. You're gonna create your own music. That's you have to. There's no way I could be like Leo. You have to play this song and only the song. You'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna change that song. Like you just would, and it would be because that's the way that you're like it has to be done my way. I got a style, and I'm a jazz player. You're trying to tell me to play only this way, but I'm gonna add some fills there, man.
It's so different than all of the words that I had.
I think
Yeah,
I'm getting you to embrace your uniqueness because
agree.
you're trying to like say these are the right answers.
Correct.
But like the right
And
answer for you is that I'm not technically going to fit in the mold though.
but then I'd have trouble like how do I bring this back to like family? And like,
You're going to run things in the style that's unique. You're going to. You're going to
okay,
do it you're going to do it different. And the principles are the same, but the way that you do it will be different.
okay.
You know, like be kind to your daughter, but the way you're going to do it will be different than the way I do it.
Right,
Both
right,
are
right.
still being kind though.
Okay, okay, okay,
You
okay.
know what I mean? Like we got our style. That's all.
Very interesting.
Like if I said, "Hey Leo, you have to be me today," you're gonna be like, "But I'm gonna do it different." You're like, you just wouldn't you won't conform.
Yeah, I really love not conforming.
Yeah,
I, I
that's
love,
which is a very big benefit, but it's also an Achilles heel because people
yes.
will fucking shit on you for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like, because like, the reason everyone's doing it that way, maybe because it's easier and you get results that way. So like, why don't you try it? anyway.
Yeah. And there's a part of you that just, if you're all doing it, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, there's part of it. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
That's
Cool.
your authenticity. But then you also enjoy the legacy and the value and praise and appreciation of doing it.
A
I did
different
it.
way.
I did it different. I did it my way.
Very interesting.
Sinatra, that shit. I did it my way. That's you.
All
That's
right.
you. You're gonna Sinatra. I got authenticity and significance for you.
Very interesting. Thank you.
And this is gonna make it so when people try and push on these areas to get you to compromise who you really are, or take away the value of something that you think is very important to do it this way, that's where you'll have to really challenge the boundaries of people pushing you to be something that just, it's not a match for me. It's
Okay.
okay to be different.
And then so like if it's like trust, integrity,
Mhm.
accountability, justice, that's all around authenticity.
Exactly. Hey, compromise who you are to do it the way I think you should do it.
Okay.
You're gonna be like, listen, I hear you, but I'm not gonna agree to that.
Okay. Very interesting. All right, cool. Thank you.
Does it feel right?
The I think the issue is that like I'm trying to map like the existing concept map of like success, family, kindness, confidence, integrity to like
That's not correct. That's
completely
why it doesn't.
different.
That's why it doesn't work.
It doesn't. Okay.
These things, if you do it this way, those other things fall in place. But if you try and put those things first and compromise your authenticity, because if I said, here's how you become successful, Leo, you have to be like all these cookie cutter dudes. That's how success works, is you have to be cookie cutter and you have to be corporate and it has to be done only this way. And you cannot be different than that at all. Would you still find it successful? You got money, but you're not you. Would you still be okay?
I would really question if that is indeed the only way, right? Like if that is indeed the only way.
You see how your first thing to do is go, I can't, that can't be the only way. You can't, instead of going like, okay, cookie cutter it is, your first thing you did was go, no.
It's not exciting to be
See, that's your thing.
okay.
You see
Yeah,
how
so
even if you got that list, you immediately went to change it.
right. Because I guess I'm trying to like map, right? Like this breaks apart like my knowledge taxonomy or like my
So,
mind.
Leo, I'm going to help you with this one. This is going to be the most fucking confusing answer you're probably going to get all day. Your map, because of the strongest element of you, isn't coming from here. It comes from here.
Okay.
And that's why you're having a dissonance with your list. It's because you have a knowing answer, but you're a heart side warrior.
Okay. Right. Yes. Oh
Follow
yeah,
the
these are like
passion, follow your passion and your authenticity of yourself, not the logic of the step by step. Because every time you do a logical step by step, you throw passion in and it monkey wrenches the program.
yeah, and I have been working a lot recently with like following your gut and feelings, right? So like because that's effectively what's sustainable, right? Like like if you want to achieve a long-term goal, you have to tie the emotions to that goal in order to achieve that goal, right? Like logically,
Yes.
you can't logic your way to a long-term goal. You have
But
to
you can follow your heart and then
yeah,
justify with logic.
yes. Yeah. Anyway,
That's your path. That's how you do it.
man, that's also scary. But anyway, I don't want
Yeah,
to
it
talk
is. That's why it's the warrior's way, and this isn't like the pansy way. That's what you're
that's
doing.
some,
We do scary shit.
yeah, that's some scary shit. All right, cool. All right, no, I mean, it definitely makes sense.
Fuck
But
yeah, dude. That's
okay,
good. Way to go, Leo.
thank you.
That's a good one, man. Those significance and authenticity, very, very unique. Very, very, very cool ones.
Damn. All right.
Good
Damn.
job, Leo.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Derek. It's rock and roll, brother.
All right, this was a kind of a giant jumble of shit for me anyway, but
That's what you got me for.
yeah, that's exactly it. No, and you already fucked up my top five anyway, so I kind of just rearranged them while we were talking about it. So
Oh, what's the new list?
the new list is and it's just kind of bullshit anyway, but one's growth, two's faith, three health, four humor, and five would be responsibility or integrity. I couldn't really, they're pretty close in hand.
Sure. Why did you put responsibility and integrity on here?
Responsibility kind of comes down to like, I guess the lack thereof from like a lot of the people I really fucking care about, you
Mm.
know? Like I always end up having to fucking take the responsibility for every goddamn thing,
Yeah.
regardless of whether I fucking know it was my fault or not.
So it's like accepting blame is what responsibility comes from.
Yeah, it's just
So
like
so
I've
this
always
comes from
fucking done
hurt.
it.
This doesn't come from strength. That's like
No, no,
gotcha.
not at all. It's definitely one of those things where it's like I just really wish they'd have fucking taken any of the goddamn like responsibility for what they did, and they still fucking do that. Like
Gotcha. What about integrity? What does that mean?
integrity, I guess, would be like for me, like just being able to be honest with themselves and like having that ability to, God, I don't even know how to word it. It's like sticking with
Let's
what they
let's
do,
let's
sticking with
change
what they fucking say they're gonna do,
let's change the target. What is integrity for you?
doing what I fucking say I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Now, how important is it for you? Like if I say I'm gonna do it,
It has to get done.
it
Like if
has
I
to get
say I'm
done.
gonna do something, I have to do it.
All right. Why do you have to do that? Where does that come from?
It's just like that. The way I was raised, it's like if you say you're gonna do something, you do it, right? And you have to be a man of your word. You have to be like honorable and true to yourself. And it doesn't do me any good if I'm sitting there telling somebody I'm going to do something and then not doing it. Like that makes me a liar. And I
Yeah.
don't fucking want that
Right. Why not?
because as it seems dishonorable to me. And I've
Okay.
got a big thing on just being like, if it's just that it comes back to that whole thing where it's like, I don't want to be a liar. I just don't. Like, I want to come off. I want you to know I'm honest. I want you to know I'm truthful. I want to be reliable.
Mm. Now, what do you think should happen when people have no responsibility, no integrity?
I mean, for me, it's just kind of, I just let it go. It's like,
Not what do you do? What do you think should happen?
what do I think should happen? I
Yeah,
think they
these
should be
people
held
are
accountable.
liars. Yeah, they need accountability. There's no responsibility. They have no integrity. They need to be held accountable. What does that look like?
For me, I guess it's just like having them get called on their shit, having them have to sit there and look at it and understand why they were wrong in doing that.
Yeah, they need to understand right and wrong. They need to figure that's not right, and there's a reason. Now, they know that what they did is not right, and they're sitting in it. What do you think should happen there?
At that point, it's the consequences probably going to come where it's like they're either going to lose something. And I think that's probably the right thing to happen. Like you're in that relationship and you can't be responsible. You have no integrity. You don't do the things you say you're going to do. Eventually, you're going to walk away. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. The consequence element of things. And does that feel like this is right? Like, do what is right.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like at that point, it's like you kind of reap what you sow,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got what you deserved, right?
Right.
Justice is served. Okay, so I see this element of you. Now, you got this growth part in here. What is this growth piece in here?
So it kind of went in hand with like, so my health kind of falls into the growth thing. So that would, I mean, I think that's how it ended up in there, but it's like just, I have to constantly be improving myself. I like seeing the results, but there's a lot of that comes from I like being able to discipline myself because at that point it's a challenge. I really like challenges. Like if I'm not challenging myself, I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like being in those uncomfortable situations as much as like it gives me anxiety and it does all these things. I strive in those situations.
So you need
Like
to put yourself into discomfort to grow.
yeah, I mean that's absolutely it. I mean it's like pain. Like if I can hurt myself through like the gym or whatever it is, I'm gonna do it. Like that's why I did MMA for so long. Is like I like getting hit in the face. It's like even pain I enjoy.
You move towards pain system. Now, what do you get when you feel it? Like now I can feel this. Does it give you a sense of like I feel
I feel
alive?
alive. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say
yeah.
that's where exactly what it is. It's just like that kind of that constant reminder that like, yeah, you're still a human being, dude. Like you're mortal and you're here, and we get this much time. Just enjoy it, have fun with it, and when I have that pain, I know I'm doing something. I know there's going to be like a response from my body or from my mind to grow and to change.
And the more that you can endure, the more it feels like growth. Like, look how much I can blast into these limits, and
Yeah.
I have the fortitude to endure, right?
Yeah. It's challenging like my limits and what I'm capable of. And I think some of that comes from, it's like that military mindset, right? Where it's just like, I was so used to high stress. And I do, like, if you put me in a life or death situation, I'm cool as a cucumber. But you ask me if what I want for dinner, I have no fucking idea. And I start like panicking a little bit because I'm like, all right, this is stupid. Like, I just can't fucking, it's like low stress. It just fucking pisses me off. Like at that point, I can't figure it out.
Do you enjoy the element of like seeing what you can overcome, or do you like the excitement from like
I
taking
like, I like
risks?
seeing what I can overcome. I think there's a lot more to that. It's like, whether it's exciting or not, I mean, that's pretty null or void.
Okay.
I like knowing that it's like no matter what gets put in front of me, like I know I can overcome that.
Yeah. I've got two words for you. This seems to be like the center around like the thing that you believe is like the main system for choice making, and then the way that you move towards your progresses. It seems like for your growth element, there's a perseverance thing that you just value very much. I will
Right.
endure, I will see what I can handle, and I will persevere. I will push through no matter how hard it is.
Absolutely. That was on my list, top 10.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
And then the other one I have is justice. What is
Ab-
right? Do
ab-
what is right.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
so
that
it's
just,
not about who is right, which is what all these motherfuckers try to sell you. It's about do what is
right.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's always kind of, yeah, I can absolutely see that because that's always something I've believed in. Where like I get pissed off when people just don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really give a shit about like what the law says necessarily, but like
Well, justice
more,
is
it's
it's
more like morally
yeah.
just do the right fucking thing. Like be a good person. Like if
Yeah.
you can't be a good fucking person, don't be around me.
Your entire system is based on this do what is right. It doesn't, like you said, it's not a legal law. It's an understanding. It's like, hey, you wouldn't like that being done to you. So do what you would like to be done. Golden rule this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's pretty good. So perseverance and justice are your main systems right now.
Yeah,
At
that makes
least right
sense.
now. I can also
Right.
see you have a very, very suppressed heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we'll help dig that thing out later on. Let's get your strong sides good first, and then we'll go into the sides that have been pushed down, okay?
Right.
So we triple down on our strengths, and then once you're proficient in your strong sides, then we go to the next side.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. So you're doing good. So this lets you know when it comes to these areas, if people are doing things that compromise what you believe is the right thing, that's where your boundaries will lie. And then
Right.
when you start going into the element of, how do I grow? I will push through. I've got it. I'm going to tell you something just to know in the future, and it may be a couple years until we break into this. It may be
Right.
less, but I'm just going to give a under promise, over deliver. There's an element here where your system that you have will get away from a move towards pain, and
Mhm.
then it'll move into a move towards pleasure. And when that day comes, I will help you, because it's kind of like all the rules get flipped upside down and then nothing makes any fucking sense. So
Right.
I'll help you when that day comes, because when I did it, it was very confusing.
I'm sure I get well. Yeah, I'm nervous, but we'll get there.
You'll be well trained by the time we get there, so you'll be prepared.
Absolutely.
Good job. So these are the areas we like, okay, these are my important areas, but it also makes it so you can hold like a solid boundary of like,
Yeah.
I won't compromise myself in that way. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like it.
Cool. Well done, Derek. Good job.
Thank you, man.
All right. Last but not least, the laundry man himself. Let's go, Kyle. Let's see what you got. You're muted, bud. Kyle, I gotta unmute you. There you go. Hit the mute button. There you go.
Yeah. All right. You got me now?
Gotcha.
All right. So I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to go with what I had originally and let's see if we can work through it. I had growth as number one, time as number two, Learning is number 3, achievement is number 4, and leadership is number 5.
What'd you put as your top 2?
Growth and then time.
Why'd you put time as in your top 2?
Um, 1 second. So time for me when I was thinking about it has a lot to do with, I think you and I have discussed, I feel like I've wasted a lot of time in my life, or lost a lot of time not being who I should have been or what I should have been during that time frame.
Mhm.
So, over the past few months of like self-reflection and things, I'm 35 years old, 36 years old. There's not, we could say I'm roughly halfway through my life. I value the time that I have left here with my kids and my family, and I want to make the most of that. So
What do you want to do with it now that you can make the most of it? What does that mean?
yeah, so it's running through that list and the way you kind of work through it. I think it all boils down to self-worth and and you know uh, connection, really.
Hmm. So you have more time and you want more connection.
Yeah,
But there's also a self-worth, a confidence area here.
yeah,
Okay, cool. So I want to feel more confident so that way I can have more connection, right?
yeah. I guess one way I've put it for the longest time is to feel wanted, right? Like I know that I'm needed financially and emotionally and all those things, for the people around me, but to kind of feel like they want me around.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see this thing too, where how do you get love then? What's the way it's done? I want
What do you mean?
connection. I want connection and I want love. I want to feel wanted. Well, what makes it so that that works? How do you get that?
Uh, I I don't know the answer to that, right?
Okay, cool. So that's not going to be the direction for the values. That's going to be like, that's more of a want thing. Let's figure out what we got this other direction. I can see where you've had to push a big piece down for you too to make it so you can become successful in certain categories. But it's like you did a trade off. There was a trade you did. You had to trade your heart for success.
Maybe. I don't
What?
know the answer.
I know that's why I'm asking you heart questions and I'm hitting a dead end. That's usually a big tell of like, I had to suppress this part because it gets in the way of getting shit done.
Oh yeah, well that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where the connection part is something that you seek, but I wonder if that's why is that really what you're doing it for? Because it seems like you're having to destroy an element of yourself in order to try to get what you believe would be successful. The achievement element is because if I have what, more status, more power, more finances, like what is the thing that would make it so if I have this, then I'll have this?
For me, it's if I had more time, right? Like if I had more time
All right,
to be present.
I'm gonna guide you real quick. All right, you
Yeah,
have 40 years. That's when I'm gonna tell you your fortune. You have 40 more years. You're not
yeah,
halfway. You still got 5 years to even hit your halfway. You got 40 years more to go. You're gonna die. It's 85. That's when you're gonna pass
yeah.
away. Okay, so you're gonna make it to 85, and now you have this time. You have the time. Now, what are you gonna do with it? What's the thing that's most important? Like now that I have the time and I have certainty, absolutely, you're bulletproof monk right now. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna fall down an elevator shaft. You're not gonna get shot, and meteor's not gonna hit your house. You're gonna make it to 85, guaranteed. All right. So now you have it. You have certainty. What are you gonna do with it?
I mean, be present with my kids and my family, right? Spend time with those around me
To do what?
to
Just
create a
sit there and stare at each other? Like
no,
what are you gonna do?
no, to create memories and create happiness, right?
Right. So create happiness. You're saying create. How old are your kids again?
13 and 11.
All right, cool. You know, you only got like a couple more years with them, right? As soon as they move out, we see them like 90% less.
Yeah. Actually, that it's funny you say that. I had a conversation with my wife about that last night, and she got real emotional. And I was like,
Good.
I mean, I agree, but I'm also looking forward to it a little bit, if I'm being honest, right? Like,
So
love
it's
them to
not
death, but
all right. So you're looking for when they're gone, what do you guys get to do?
I mean, we get to spend time with each other because a lot of our relationship, you know, has been prioritizing the kids over us. So,
Yeah. So you have to switch that anyways. That's why your relationship is failing, by the way, is because you switched the wrong order.
oh, and that's what I told her last night, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we both have come to that agreement at this point that, you know, neither one of us did a very good job for the longest time prioritizing the the right things. So,
What do you think would have been important to do a better job now that you can see the problem? Like, what would you have done differently?
well, so for me, it was talking about this stuff kind of makes me feel like I'm coming up with excuses or
Oh,
using
no, no, no.
excuses.
No. We'll go through that. Don't worry about the excuse. I just want to see what the pieces are. Then we'll take the pieces that fit and don't fit. We'll work on that together. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. So for me, instead of coming home and going straight to the computer and blocking everything out and trying to, you know, uh, zone out, so to speak,
Hmm.
I would have been more present. I would have, spent more time with my kids and, more time with my wife and made them a priority, right?
And now that you have like the less computer, I'm going to balance this out. I'm not going to stay on the computer. Now I'm going to stay with you. What prioritization would be like now it's worth it to me?
Do
Like
you
I
mean
got
in terms of like the things that I'm prioritizing for her and with her, or what are you asking?
not the doing because you
Yeah.
already did the doing. Now the being part. Now that I'm with my kids. Now I'm with my girl. Now we can be what?
Yeah, we can be together and be happy and
Yeah.
be, you know, connected.
Keep saying happy.
Yeah, man. I've never been happy in my life.
Yeah, it sounds like you're talking about like fairy tale.
Well, for me, it's more my entire life has always been a battle. And,
Mhm.
you know, we've talked about kind of growing up, and I'm sure everybody has their struggles. We all do. Wasn't good for me. And everything I've done has been on my own. I've had no family support or anything like, what I'm saying? So
Yes.
everything for me has been a battle. So I'd like to get to a point where I guess a better word than happiness would probably be peace, right? Like to not feel like I'm at war with myself or everything around me all the time.
Good. So the peace element makes sense for me because now I can create peace. Because you can't create happiness, but you can at least make it so the place is safe and secure and good. But it's also peace in these other elements, which is you've had conflict in, especially this
Yeah.
heart side. This heart side's been really suppressed. And that's probably where your hard part is because you want to have the connection more than anything, but you turned off the connector piece. It's kind of like only one half the circuit is turned on.
Yeah.
Do you feel very disconnected from the people you care about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So that's why that would be important to have it. But there's something else you've been doing instead. And there seems to be like the achievement element of doing has been very important in your strategy. And I think a big reason why we're talking is because the doing element has blown up in your face. There's a missing piece. It's like you have a house with three walls and you're like, why is there so drafty?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to see what is the things that you've been doing because now you want the time. So that way you can have the presence to be able to have connection with your people because that's a wish that's never been granted. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel wanted because I'm so busy trying to do what to try to get peace. Well, what have you been doing? Work, 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 work.
Oh yeah, it's been, I worked retail in a corporate structure as a salary manager for a long time for a big box uh Bass Pro Shops specifically. I mean, there were weeks where I worked 78 hours, 80 hours a week.
What were you
Did that
good
for
at
long?
there? Let's go that direction. When you were at work, what were you good at?
Yeah, like people, right? Like dealing with people. So it's funny that we're talking about this because again, I've been talking a lot with, my wife, and I told her yesterday, it feels like, there have been times that, and I told you this, that in the past I've gone outside of their marriage, like not physically, but talking to other people because it always felt to me like other people wanted me around. Like other people enjoyed having me around for, whatever reason. And I always felt like I had to fight for her attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that has to do with, the kids were born and the way I was and the way I did things. But, you know, when I was at work, people looked at me as like the people manager, right? Like people wanted to be on one of my teams because they knew that I would take care of them and that they would um, have a good place, to come to work every day.
Mm-hmm. And there's you mattered there. You were important there.
Yeah.
You had a purpose there, and then you would come home and you would have to be fighting just to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's where your identity probably went more into the work world because you felt like you mattered. You had that part of you that was important. I'm important here.
Yeah.
Cool. And so there's a value and importance to something in here with this. I think you would Doug a little bit on this belong. I belong somewhere and I'm important and I'm included and I'm relevant and I'm necessary and I'm helpful. Now, a big part of the way you were doing that, is it because of who you were or because of how much you were able to help? Like love me for
Um,
who I am or because I'm of service in some very useful way?
say that one more time.
Were you identifying more with being of service or of belonging?
No,
Love
it's
me
definitely
because
I enjoyed the feeling that people, respected me and wanted to be in my presence, right?
well, because they needed you, like you were
No,
helping
not
them with something.
no, not because they needed me, but because it felt like they genuinely wanted to be, right? Like people wanted to be around me. People uh wanted to be on my teams. People wanted to be, you know, in my presence.
Hmm.
Even even the other managers, right? Would come to me and like talk to me about things they needed help with, Um just
Again,
I see what you're saying
things
in terms
they
of like
need.
being needed.
Yeah, but things they need help with. You keep using very specific words. They come to me with things they need help with. And people at home don't come to you with things they need help with. They probably complain more than, hey, can we collaborate?
Yeah,
So
true.
that's where I said there's a thing there with there's like a dualistic identity that you've got where here I belong and I'm of service, but here I'm unnoticed and I feel unloved.
Yeah,
Now, I also think there's two different personalities here. I think there's a work you and I think there's a home you. I think they're two different dudes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
I
like
think so.
that's like superhero cape and then like mild mannered alter ego.
Yeah,
There's
yeah. Because again, I know that I'm a provider, and I've done well with that, right? Like in terms of being the provider for my family, and
hmm
I kind of had to put that mask on at work to do that. But then when I got home, like you can't be that person all the time, right? Um,
because it's inauthentic. And so it's hard to keep up the facade.
so when I got home, again, going and kind of hyper fixating on whatever it was to block everything out, and not saying that was the right way to do it, but that's the way I did it. You know,
It's a tricky thing. Being a three is hard. I want to give you three pieces here to help you while you're struggling because you have a dual personality, because you have one that works really, really well, and then one that you wish you were loved for, that it's just not working and it's very frustrating. Here's the basic fear of the achiever type. of being worthless without value apart from their achievements. That's the basic fear of being worthless and without value absent of my achievements. So without my achievements, I don't mean anything to you. That's the main fear. The basic desire to feel worthwhile, accepted, and desirable. I just want to be wanted.
Yeah.
And then your super ego message is you are good or okay as long as you are successful and others think well of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the achievement and validation required from other people to fill your cup can be very, very difficult when there's a missing element at home because the people you care, in this case, the person you care about the most, isn't doing their job because you've most likely made it so that it's been okay not to. You'll just take care of it, which has probably taught her to, well, stop doing anything that made you guys love each other.
Yeah.
She quit doing anything that made you choose her. And then you kept doing all these things to go, look at how much I'm doing for you. And she's like, I'm not paying attention to that anymore. I'm just doing my own thing. And now you guys have a relationship where nobody sees anybody.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a belonging thing. You need to feel approved of. There's an approval and belonging. That's really important to you. And that matters, because a lot of your value comes from your value and service to others, makes it so that you are loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you would get on the computer, was it distraction or was it for work?
No, it was for distraction.
Okay. Were you like playing games or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I had to get out of there. That's
Well, but hold on. The funny thing is, right, that achiever part, anything I've ever done has been competitive, right? Like every, yes, I played video games, but top 10 ranked in the world, et cetera, et cetera. Like I was always pushing for something there too.
was it team games or was it solo games?
Um, both, all the above, a good mix.
The second one is tricky. I think you have two personalities you have to fight with. This is why I'm reading two versions of Kyle. This is why I think it's hard to find the core value because these two guys operate very differently. One guy goes into hard work, service, collaboration, and improving all elements around, loving to be important and valued and appreciated, wanted. I love having Kyle around. That's work Kyle. But home Kyle is isolated and, just, closes himself off, distracts himself, and is doing things that feel like progress, but it's absent of the main things that you do everything for. And so it's like working really hard and then just not getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like I do all of this work so my family loves me, but then I'm not spending time with my family. And that's why time was so important to you. You do all of this to have the thing, and then you don't do the thing when you get it. Like you're just not taking your paycheck.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. There's like a achiever and a sabotager. There's like two different versions of you. One guy is highly successful. The other guy doesn't. Like he'll stand up and do the right thing and fight for the right thing for his people. And then the other one is like just no backbone and just takes it to the fucking chin.
What was
Well,
your
yeah.
what's your second Enneagram?
Two.
The um
Two.
the supportive advisor, and
Yeah.
then the investigative thinker and the loyal guardian.
Okay. I don't know. I
Um,
just remember I was married and I was definitely an achiever while I was married. And
yeah.
then it fell apart. So now I'm
Well,
more
there were times in our relationship where I felt like I really went above and beyond to be present and do all the things. But I guess after feeling like it wasn't enough or it didn't affect anything or change anything, I probably fell back into my sabotage ways or just, whatever.
Well,
Um,
an unhealthy 3 goes to an unhealthy 9. which is sloth. You'll you'll do very little.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why, like, when at home, you're gonna lean into it like, I'm not really gonna do very much here. I'm not appreciated. I'm not recognized. I'm not seen. So who gives a fuck? Nobody cares anyways.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
And
at work, you're like rabbit or gopher. You're gonna go and kick ass at work, and then you come home and you're Eeyore.
yeah,
That's why I said I'm seeing two different personalities here.
and I think that's starting to change now. I really
Yeah.
do. But obviously I have a long way to go in terms of realizing kind of, I guess, what really is the most important things and how to, I guess, do that going forward. But
Well, the hard question for you is, if you want to be loved, which version of you do you want to be loved?
Mhm.
That's the hard part. So each personality type, I did a training on this yesterday, Kyle. Each personality type has a Achilles heel. Each one. Mine is lust, you know, because I'm a type 8. And so a type 8 is lust. Leo's is envy. It goes into like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish it was like that. I wish I had that thing, you know, and like each guy's going to have their own thing. You know, my twos is pride, you know, JR is gluttony. You know, it's going to go into these different elements of like, damn, I want more. I want more experience, more fun, more things. I don't want to miss out on that. You know, Derek would go into the sloth and the isolation and just kick his own ass. You know, he's going to go into that thing. We each have this like this other side to us. Threes is one of the hardest ones that I've worked with. The reason why is because a three is deceit. You get really good at playing the right mask at the right time for the right crowd and get really successful for doing it. And
yeah,
they can read the room and they can play it like a fiddle, and like they're really good at it, which makes it really difficult to go, well, be who you are, even though you know you can put the mask on that'll make you guaranteed successful.
yeah, yeah,
That's really difficult because you know how to play the game and you're good at the game, you win the game, but then who's really living that life though? Because which persona or which character did you play to win? And you're
yeah.
doing a lot
No,
of things, whether it's in the video world or it's in the real world, where you're playing a character and you're not living your life. And that's probably why this time thing is starting to catch up, because you're like, I have like 30 years of not being me I've been doing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm here, right? Like I, I've said it a lot over the past 2 months or 3 months that I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, like the things that I used to find comfort and joy in, I don't anymore. You know, um, I don't necessarily have any hobbies right now, right? Like I'm struggling to find something that really piques my interest, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But who's it for?
well,
Because
I
if you're
mean,
doing it to be interested to achieve so people like you, that's going to be very hard, because your achievement will then be based on what does everybody enjoy watching.
well, no, I think that's the easier part for me, right? Is to find the things that people will like me for.
Hmm.
I'm saying that I'm trying to find things that genuinely excite me or make me happy, and I haven't found anything yet, right?
It's because you haven't been you before.
Yeah,
Because even your at home sloth version isn't actually you.
right.
That's you retreating from yourself. The greatest battle your dragon is going to be truth. Sounds simple. It is going to be a fucking fight, bro. Because you're really good at bending it, but it's expensive. There's always a tab on it. Whenever we bend the truth, all of us, whenever we bend it, at some point the tab comes due.
Yeah,
We wish it was free, like we could get away with it. It's short term free. Like it's short term, we may get away with it for a while, but at some point the tab comes due, and I think that you're running into these imposter syndrome things, because like I don't know who the fuck I am anymore, and I'm not happy with that.
yeah,
You're like, I feel like I wasted all these years because I haven't been living a life that's mine. I've been living somebody else's, and like
yeah,
that's where the battle is. Well, truly, then who are you? So we can live that life and feel like the minutes that you're using now Those ones are going towards your bank and not going towards your persona's bank.
Yeah.
That's the fight. And like, it's pretty good. I know that you need to belong and I know you need to be accepted, but I want to go a little further in with you on figuring out
Yeah.
which version of you is yours, because belonging and connection would be really good, but you have to be able to do a level of acceptance of yourself to be able to receive the connection because your connector's turned off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave you with belonging and connection for now because it's our goal. And I'm going to use connection as our manifestation tool for the moment. And the more we dig in with you, the more we'll redo this and find your actual missing, like your missing piece.
How much of your like identity can be found through like introspection versus like experience? Or is it like
Well, introspection brings experience. It's almost all. So you guys, the answers are inside. You guys
okay?
have the answers inside of you already. It's just so you guys know, when we get to belief systems, most of our belief systems are corrupted by outside influence. Usually parents, but now with social media, especially kids are really struggling today. There's so much influence in instruction and what you're supposed to do that it's too much information. Most of our belief systems are all routed in algorithms that we've been in our life. So your parents tell you how to think and do and what's good and what's bad. And, your teachers tell you what to do and what's good and what's bad. And then your coaches tell you what to do and what's good and bad. And then your girlfriend tells you what's good and your friends show you what's good and bad. And your coworkers and your bosses. And there's always somebody, your doctor, there's somebody telling you what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. And now we have online influencers telling you what's good and what's bad. But all of it takes you away from who you really are to try to fit in to what everyone tells you you're supposed to be. That's the game. So most of our belief systems are corrupted by judgment to begin with, especially our very young belief systems, the ones where your parents tell you what's good and bad. We didn't have any way to challenge, or we didn't have the cognitive ability to even understand. So we just went with whatever it was. And that's why you see a lot of even church hurt and stuff like that, where people will force beliefs on people. And then later on, you're like, that was mean, or you used me, or that was manipulative, or that was hurtful. And then it's very confusing to find, faith not only in something greater than you, but faith in yourself. And our belief systems around what is really good and bad get corrupted terribly. And so most of our belief systems, a high majority, are corrupted. And that's why we have to challenge everything. And that's why knowing yourself first and knowing these things about you makes it so when we start going in and find a belief system that's very inauthentic, it's cross reference with something that you do know is yours. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool stuff. When we get into those fights, you're going to be like, I thought that was going to be like 6 months for me to do it. And we're like, actually, you can do it in 6 minutes. Now you know how to do it.
Okay.
There's only two kinds of guys, fellas, trained or untrained. Once you learn these skills, it's pretty amazing how well you can apply them. Pretty cool. But we have to know ourselves first. And then after this, we get into knowing what fights there are to fight, and we learn how to beat those. And then section 11 is when we go, let's see what your shelves look like. What boxes of bullshit do you guys have in these categories, so we can see how do you apply your authenticity to your enemies so we can know who we're fighting, and then we get in the ring. It's a lot of fun. By then, you guys will be prepared what to do. That's why we don't do traditional therapy of going, let's open up all your bullshit, guys. Oh, time's up. See you guys next week. You'd be like, I don't know how to fight what we just let out. I'd be like, it'll be weird. No, no, no. Before we open anything up, let's make sure you guys know how to fight. So knowing yourself makes you a lot more competent when somebody starts telling you who you're allowed to be. No, no, no. And that leads us to the boundaries element, guys. Now, this is important for a lot of my guys. We got a lot of people pleasers in here. A lot of the boundaries element, it's important to know boundaries is not about what other people do. It's only about how we respond to how people do things. Now, for my people pleasers, you guys know what I'm talking about. They're freaking out. And so now I have to do a thing. No, you don't. Boundaries is opposite. I want to, you listen, I've called it out. You guys can go ahead and send an email if you like. I'll tell you. So I started reading this book and going through Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart. Let me just tell you, there's a big chunk of this that's fucking bullshit. Like, just because somebody published a book or has a PhD after that, it doesn't mean it's correct. It's fucking wrong. But I did a whole training on her thing around boundaries in this, and it is backwards. For her, boundaries is telling people who they're allowed to be. That's not a fucking boundary. It's a demand. Telling people what they can and can't do is not boundaries. Boundaries is only, here's what I'm going to do to respond to what you're doing for myself. So by Brene Brown standard, if I was to say, hey, Leo, don't message me on the weekends. Don't send me any emails. Don't message me on the weekends. That's my boundary. But is that really a boundary or is that a demand?
Demand.
That's a demand. I'm telling you what you can and can't do. That's not a boundary. A boundary would be, Leo, if you message me on the weekend, just know I don't check it till Monday. So I'll get back to you Monday. That's my boundary. I'll get to it when I get to it. Just heads up when you know what that is. So that way you don't send it and you're just staring at it Saturday and Sunday waiting for me to respond. I'm like, you can send 10 emails. I'm just not checking till Monday. You're like, okay, cool. Well, I'll talk to you Monday then. Great. Or if one of you guys was like, hey, I need to talk now. And I'm like, what's going on? 911? Like, no, I'm just working through something. I'm like, cool. My availability is going to be Thursday at 4, or I got Saturday at 11. Which one do you want? They're like, no, I want to talk to you now. I'm like, I heard what you said, but I don't have that time open. But what I do have is Thursday at 4 or Saturday at 11. Which one do you want to do? Like, what about right now? I'm like, no, don't have that time open. Thursday, Saturday, which one? Well, all right. Well, then I guess Thursday. I'm like, cool. I'll see you Thursday at 4. That's a boundary. See, but a lot of you guys would immediately go, all right, well, let me cancel my meetings and let me, stop this call and let me jump off. And what do you need? And they're like, I think that we're out of ice cream and we need ice cream. You're like, that's your emergency. You see the guys and JR, the guys who come in and are crown and shield and go, okay, so I got this girl with a hot ass and I got this girl who's really smart. Which one should I date? You're like, shut the fuck. You're wasting my time for this. That's your question? Hot ass or big brain? Big brain? Well, get out of here. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's very silly, the conversations people will want attention for. So we have boundaries. I have boundaries. So it's not about what people do. It's about how we handle what they do. I do not have to freak out until there's any agreements made. I don't do anything. With all my girls, until there's an agreement made, you can make all the noise that you want. In terms like Michael, we were doing this morning. Well, I hate this and I don't like that. And this thing is stupid. And I wish it was like this. And I wish it was like that. I'm like, yeah, I hear you say a lot of stuff, but we don't have any agreements here. So in which case, until there's a thing to do, there's nothing for me to do. You guys remember the bartender? You guys were when Doug was the greatest bartender in the world? The greatest bartender, and you guys keep trying to guess the drinks? No, 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 no. Until they make an order, I'm not making any drinks. That's my boundary. Until you know what you want, I won't make a drink. Derek. So in which case, in this one, I don't have to do anything until we have an agreement. That's my boundary. Now, the reason I tell you guys this one is how can you look at your values and your lists and hold boundaries around these spaces, the things that people will ask you to compromise about yourself? I don't have to react. I can respond to say, well, I don't agree with that. And that's okay. Or like, oh, no, I'm not going to overcompromise that area. That'll make it so I won't be okay. That won't help you and that won't help me. So I'm not going to do it that way. But here's the way that I would do it. And that's a boundary. It's not about what they want, not about what they say, not about what they do. It's only about the way we handle it. And you're not in any issues until there's an agreement made. So is there an agreement that makes sense? So guys, boundaries is a tricky one. Do you guys have any questions? Like, well, what about this? How would I do a boundary here? Or my ex did this shit. How would I even hold a boundary with that? You guys have a question where like, what do I do with this stuff? Or do you guys feel like I got boundaries down? I have no issues with boundaries, and this is the strongest area for me.
Definitely not my strongest area, but it's something I've been working on a shit ton lately where I'm just like, no, man, like, here's when I'm available. Here's when I can do whatever you're asking. I was like, but until then, I was like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm putting myself first. If you need something done, I'm telling you, this is what my availability is, and you can get over it. Like,
Mm-hmm. And then when to hold that boundary. So, Derek, I want you to, hey, can you come over here and fix this for me, man?
no,
Yeah, but I really need it fixed. Like, it just doesn't turn on anymore. Can you just
yeah,
come over and fix it?
yeah, no. This is my availability. I'm there. I can be there Thursday or Friday.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
There's
Thursday works for me. Thursday's good. But how much is it for you to do it?
It's gonna be $200.
$200. I don't have 200, but can you do it for 125?
No, my price is 200. That's what it cost.
No, but no, bro. It's just us being like, hey, just do it for me, man. I just said be 125, man.
So when you have the money, I can come over and do it.
Good.
But until then,
Healthy boundaries. Good job, Derek. Well done.
yeah, I've been having to work on that at work too, because I dealing with a situation with a client that doesn't want to pay it. And he's like, "Well, can you work with me?" I was like, "Yeah, you bet." I was like, "I'll work with you. You can take as long as you want to do that. But until then, I'm charging you 6,000 a month to do it until you do it." So I was like, "That's what it is." And he's like, "Well, that's not really working with me." I was like, "Yeah, sure it is." I was like, "You don't want to put the meter in, so I'm gonna keep charging you 6,000. Once you get the meter, you can take as long as you want to put that meter in. Like, you're fine, but I'm not changing the price that you're paying right now."
Yeah, but I'm happy to take it away once you put the meter in.
Yeah, I was like, "But once you do what you're supposed to, for sure."
Yeah, teamwork. You get to choose every day. Every day you get to make that choice. You're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to know. I had a client that I was also doing. My normal price is 200 an hour just to work with me, and they were doing it every week. And they're like, "Hey, I can't do that, but can I do 250 and then we still do every week?" And I said, "No, but I can do one day a month for you." No, I'm not going to do that. So if you want less
Right.
days, you can do less days. That's fine. But if you don't want to pay me what my value is, then I'm not working with you.
Right. That whole knowing your worth.
That's just a boundary. And now they're trying to scramble to figure out how to get back to paying what they said they were going to pay in the first place. It's just value. It's just, I know my values. I know where my strengths are. I know my worth. And then I'm going to hold boundaries. It's not about what they want. It's okay that they want more for less. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I have to agree to it for it to be something that matters. And if I don't agree, nothing changes. And that's okay.
Right.
All right. Good job, Derek. Yeah, you're getting strong with this. That's good. All right. Somebody else. Anybody got a thing where like, how do I do this boundaries thing? I know, Michael, you're working on boundaries. JR, you've had to practice boundaries.
Yeah, Rick, I got one.
What do you got, Doug?
I think I kind of threw this out last week. So let's say I'm sitting here on the couch watching football on Sunday and the wife wants something done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in some ways I have no leg to stand on to say no. I'm busy, right? But at the same time, you know, it's something that I want to do. So,
Sure.
so she asks me to do something. How do I, you know, I really want to just sit and watch the game. I don't want to get off the couch.
Give me the example. What's the request?
Can you take out the garbage?
Of course I can take the garbage out.
Mhm.
Is that's the question? Like, do I have the capability? Of course. Can you
Can you
take out the
take the
garbage?
garbage out for me?
Yeah,
No,
I
she didn't
can.
say. She didn't say now.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do it just as well as you can. Is that you just want to know if I'm capable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm capable.
Okay. Can you take the garbage out for me right now?
Right now. I'll tell you what, on the next commercial, I'll jump off, I'll grab the garbage for you. No problem.
Mhm.
Also though, if we're doing any demands right now, on the commercial after that, I want some intimacy.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
No, it's not that. Like I want some
I
hot
love it.
loving. I want some hot loving. I'll get the garbage on this commercial, but the next one, you and me, hot loving time.
With the
Stick,
TV still on.
yeah, I'll be watching the game. I'm gonna bend you over the couch. I want to watch the game and beat these buns. But But there's these things here, and you guys saw my video on this, where it's one thing where like be careful of how much power we give to people. And if they go like, I want it done right now. Do you guys remember we talked about that, the difference between a request and a demand? We talked about that, right? Did we talk about that? I've done this 500 times. So.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, a request, you know, is in a demand is you can only tell the difference based on how they respond if it doesn't go that way. And so she's like, "Can you take the garbage out right now?" And you're like, "No, but I'll take it out when the next commercial goes on and I'll get it then." She's like, "Well, I want it now." I'm like, "I heard you." And I said, "I'll get it on the next commercial. You're not the boss. You're not telling me what to do. If that's the case and we're doing that, well, then I want you to sleep with me right now." You're like, "What? That's fucked up." I'd be like, "See, you just speak in judgments and commands. We're not doing that, but I'll get it on the next commercial." Like, I just won't play it. Like, I just don't agree with you. I'm not doing it. And if you have a real problem with it, you got arms. No different than if I'd wanted the floor vacuumed, I'm not going to come get you and say, vacuum the floor. I'll just vacuum the floor. Well, you don't like the garbage? Take it out yourself. You're grown up. Like, I just don't play the games. I don't play it. Now, I don't mind being of service, but I don't work under demands. I'll make agreements, though. But a lot of you guys remember Doug this morning I talked about, you guys gave so much power to people who are irresponsible with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have to go like, I hear you, but I'll get it when I get it. If you don't like it, you're welcome to do it yourself. But otherwise, I'll get it at the next commercial.
This is one I really struggled with. I did really well with all my notes and everything up until this, and I'm sure it's no shock to you, but I don't get this topic at all. I struggle with any of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've been trying to do a people pleasing element with her for so long that like it's destroyed you. You keep cutting pieces of you off to make her happy, and now there's very little left of you.
Yeah.
That's why we have to, you know, cyborg you back together here. We're like, we need a new leg, we need a new arm.
As I sit here and fold laundry,
What's that?
as I sit here and fold laundry,
Yeah, do as you're told.
I offered to be fair.
No, I don't. I do towels here. I don't mind. I'm happy to
Yeah.
be happy to be of service for my girls. But it's what I choose to do, not because I'm forced to do, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
It's different. I do it because that's what I choose to do. I want to be of service. I'll come and take care of you girls because I love you, not because I have to do this. In fact, if there's a demand made, it usually is going to be like, "You sure you want to do it that way? You know, I got you. You know, I support you and I love you. But if you want to push it and force it, you do know you're not going to win that, right?" Or I'll be like, "Use your manners. Start over." But there's also, I have autonomy too in the relationships. A lot of you guys never had autonomy where like, I don't have to listen to you and I don't have to be abused. Like, you do know that if you're abusive, I'll leave you, just like you should leave me if I'm abusive. And most of you guys were taught to just chop yourself to pieces instead of stand for what you believe is right. That doesn't work like that. So most of us never even heard of autonomy, the ability to be able to leave if something is abusive. So ladies will have you compromise everything that you have to make it so you're trapped within their web of give me power or else I'll be mean to you. And somehow you could fucking do it. I'm like, that never works. Boundaries. I hear you, babe. But no, I'm not doing it that way. When are you going to do it? I'll do it on the next commercial. I want to watch the game. And just like you wouldn't want me interrupting you in the middle of something you love to do to go and vacuum or go do some laundry, I'm going to do it when I'm done with this. But just like I can vacuum and just like I can do laundry, I'm not going to sit here and just complain about you not doing something I'm perfectly capable of doing. If you don't like it, we'll take care of it. Just like I would if you weren't here and I wanted it vacuumed. I would just vacuum. I don't see the issue. The only issue is when you have a judgmental, controlling person. We have to give power, fellas. We have to give power. This gets into the non-negotiable element. What did you guys think about when you saw that non-negotiable section?
Um, all relationship stuff, really. But
How many would you say, like, I could see, like, oh, I compromised myself on that one?
all of them.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. No wonder the relationship is suffering. Real talk, guys, just so you know how ladies work. If you don't hold your boundaries and you don't hold your non-negotiables, they don't respect you.
Yep.
And if you want to be wanted, you have to be disagreeable.
Yep.
It's a really tough lesson, especially for my twos in here. For my people pleasers in here. You guys are like, man, what do I have to do to make her happy? What do I have to do to make her happy? I'm like, disagree with her. They're like, oh no, my God, I gotta stay off the radar, right, JR? I gotta stay. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to disagree with her. That'll be hell, right? You're like, that's the only way she'll respect you. Go ahead, Mike.
This is more of a rip it off like a band-aid, or is there like a transition period to this?
You're gonna have to transition it. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to be cool for a long time. Remember, guys, we've been flame throwing the garden so long that's just a bunch of charred bits. It's gonna take a little while before this turns into a garden. So you keep watering it, even though she's freaking the fuck out. I just put water on the garden.
That I've watered his garden so much, I feel like it's on the front lawn by now. It's gone.
Yeah, but you watered it. I'll water it with what?
Not the
What?
right, not the right stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of guys using napalm to water the garden. And I'm like, that's not watering the garden. Yeah, you're pissing on the garden. Yeah, there you go, JR. You're pissing in the garden and calling it water in the garden. You're like, hold on, man. Hold on. That's not water the garden. You know, I poured bleach in the garden. You're like, oh, that's not watering the garden. You know, that kills it. Yeah, but it's wet. I'm like, yeah, it's bleach, but it's fucking killing your garden, man. It's going to take us a while to clear that out. Really, truly watering the garden is just being calm and cool. I don't have to react. I don't have to. I see a lot of you guys are scared of your wives. And Andrea brought up like a lot of guys are scared of their wives because, like, well, the court system works against men so hard. I'm telling you right now, with the support group, our guys are winning these court cases. We got guys winning.
I don't think it's as much as being scared of her, as much as I don't even know what it is, honestly. It's just being scared of the noise. It's just I don't want to deal with it, you know?
But pissing on the garden doesn't give you fruit or calm things down. Again, Michael, like I've talked to her, like I know her energy. I could calm someone like that down so fast because she can't get me. She can make all the noise she wants, but she's trained you to react. You're trained to react. And she doesn't like the reaction. She doesn't like you freaking out, which is so fucking. This is why you can't let her touch the fucking wheel of the car. Is because when you let her drive, you fucking crash into this everything. Everything starts getting hit. You have to go, baby. I am not going to be participating in this shenanigans. No. My girl does this shit. You guys, I have 5 of these fucking things in here. They're nuts. It's fucking crazy in here. And so I just stay super cool in the face of the madness that is woman and all different personality types. I got a 3, I got a 5, I've got a 1, I've got a 7, and I got a 2. I've got all different personality types, each girl. And they all come with different drama. Each one is a totally different drama thing. And so being able to stay calm and cool, no matter how fucking crazy they come in here with, has been the benefit.
Well, it's, I think I mentioned in the chat in the failings earlier that I even noticed the behavior in my son when she's flipping out. First thing he does, he runs to her and he puts his arms around her and hugs her. He goes, "Mom, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay."
He's fawning. He's fawning to protect you and or her.
Yeah.
But it's fawning. He's going towards the danger to stop the damage. You're teaching him this.
Yeah, I need to unteach myself and him.
Well, you can't have him break a curse that you don't know how to break.
That's why I'm here.
Correct. And so this is where we're just giving you the pieces. I got to plant seeds in you and keep watering your garden until you go, baby, I hear you and I love you, but I'm absolutely not agreeing with you at all.
You know what's fucked up about that whole thing is there are times where and now when she comes at me with guns blazing, already blaming, saying you, and sometimes I try to disarm her. Sometimes I need to wait until she is done.
Yeah. How do you try
But
to disarm her?
well, I try to
Tackle
say
her? Tackle her?
no. I try to stay cool as long as I can, and sometimes I just reach a breaking point. I'm like, okay, enough. All right, just stop.
Right there, you lost. That's
I
where you
know.
lose. That's
I
where you
know.
because that's you threw your dick in the fireplace. Like, it doesn't work. Let me give you a better weapon here, okay? Baby, do you know what you need? And she'll say, I need you to do this. I need like, no, those are wants. What do you need here? Why are you turned up like this? I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure. I'm like, yeah, we got to work and team up on this thing. How is you attacking me and make us feel safe? You want me to be a good man? Are you being a good woman? Like, back off. How can we team up on this? If we need to get some more finances, all right, what's some game plans we can do?
I think
Figure-
part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating like mock scenario like that of what she says and my response. What she
Well-
says is my response, just to kind of start drilling it in.
Mike, practice though. So this is where I'm saying you've got this impression, and it's more about you learning not to fall in line and being able to go, okay, like I'm able to just whatever it is, it's fine. Practice with me. You give me this morning. You talk to me exactly the same way, and I'll show you how to handle it.
I'm trying to remember how the conversation even went because usually,
Usually it's the point where the crack in the world happened and you couldn't hold out anymore.
well, I know that she's been struggling a lot where she doesn't feel like a person. She can't buy any clothes. She can't get her nails done. Can't get her hair done. She doesn't feel like a human anymore. She's depressed, like all these things. And I say, you know, something to the effect of, all right, look, we have irons in the fire. We have some things that are panning out. Things are heading in the right direction. And then it starts the blames. And you know, well, what is your plan? What are you trying to do here?
What is the plan?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I forgot my kids are at the bus stop. All right, I'm going to get the kids. Hang on a second. Sorry, I got to run down to the bus stop.
You said sorry 4 times in like
Yeah.
10 seconds. You're on your heels all the time, Mike. You're on your heels
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, no shit. God damn it.
It's okay. The kids will be fine. It'll be all right. You'll get the kids.
Oh,
Hey guys.
They're still safe, right?
Yeah, everybody's fine. You get the kids, and then what do you want? Mac and cheese or chicken nuggets?
I got to work on this conversation when I get back now because I know it's going to happen.
The kids are
let's do it.
fine. I'm working on getting better for myself. I'm working on betterment for our family. And I got the kids. They're okay. Everyone's okay. Well, what about this? What about that? Well, where the fuck were you? Like, don't start with me with this shit. You were doing the same thing I was doing. You're mad at me for it. Take a deep breath.
Well,
Take
she'll
this
say,
breath.
but you said you were going to get the kids and you didn't do it.
They're right here. I got them. The kids are right here. They are gotten. What's your issue? You want it done your way. You're not the fucking boss.
Now she's calling me.
Don't answer it. Just get the kids. How far are the kids? If it's a mile,
I got it. There's like 4 houses down.
It's okay. Cool. Do you see the kids?
Got them.
Winning.
No, I can't.
Why?
Do you see how you're afraid of a conversation right now that doesn't even matter?
Yeah, I do.
So, like, the kids are right here. We got them. They're fine.
And this will turn into you never follow through with what you say you're going to do. I can't rely on you.
Mm-hmm. what other good woman things do you have to say to me? I'm listening. I'll wait. You're being a great woman right now. I'd like to hear what other good woman things you have to say. Slow down. You're not the boss. The kids are safe. Everyone's good.
She will flip her lid if I say something like that to her. It'll
Go
go
ahead,
World War
Michael.
Three.
Michael, there's some backbone shit we got to put in you. What the fuck
Yeah.
is she gonna fucking do?
She goes
Real,
nuclear.
yeah.
kind of
So
stuff.
what? She makes noises. So what? Go make noise. Go take a fucking bath. Go make noise somewhere else. Who gives a fuck? My girls make noise all the time. I don't have to do shit with noise. Why are you trained to give a fuck about people making noise? You're not in danger. She can't do shit. You're twice as strong as her. She ain't gonna do shit. She's gonna make noise. So calm down. Go take a deep breath. Kids are safe. Quit being mean.
Guarantee if the shoe was on the other foot and she was on a call, she had to be on me like, what are you get? You gotta go down and get the kids.
So,
I can't do it.
so why didn't she get the kids? Because you said you were gonna do it. Well, I got them. So what? There's no conflict here. There's nothing to be upset about. Everyone's fine. Why aren't you fine that everyone's fine? You think it's me that you're not okay when the kids are right here? They're good. You think it's me? It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, well, this is a good example.
It's look at how you're handling it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what noise that she makes. It's only how you handle it. But you're already on your heels before you even go in.
Just kidding.
Well, guys, in the house. All right, we're home. Oh Lord. Yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yep, I can feel you. It's your energy. You're creating like this, like, oh no, oh no, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry energy.
Yeah.
That's you, man. You got Denzel Washington this shit.
I hear you.
Yeah, he was super late.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot. Thanks,
I-
Jess. Thanks for telling the kids that.
Yeah, but right there, you're being confrontational. Like that's passive aggressive. That's not strong. And then name calling, how useful.
I'm talking to Rick right now. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, a lot of work to do.
So, Michael, take a deep breath. Everyone's fine. But I would also have a conversation of what's the benefit of calling each other names in a marriage. Make agreements. What's the value in calling each other names? Kids are safe. Everyone's okay. What's the point if you did something that it wasn't exactly the way I wanted you to do it, that I call you a fucking idiot? What's the value? You're going to have to take lead at some point, Mike. Just so you know, money doesn't create leadership.
Yeah.
Money isn't leadership. That's not the leader. If you guys think money makes leadership, like, boy, is that work? Hey, Kyle, how's having money work for leadership? Is that working?
Let me unmute myself here. I was about to try to unmute myself anyway. Hell no.
No.
It doesn't mean nothing. I mean
shit.
The guy that my wife talked to not too long ago thought he was more wealthy and better off than we were, and that wasn't the case. It was just money's not what they're looking for.
Yeah, money isn't leadership. People don't follow for money. They follow because of behaviors. So if you think because she's got the financial upper hand, she should be in charge, that's not true. There's a large period of time that my girl made more money than me. Like it was a good period, like 4 years. She was making more money than I was. I didn't take any of her shit. I'm like, you don't give me your shit. Don't do it. Don't do it. No, we still have to do what is right for the family. The name calling and bullshit, that doesn't work. I don't give a fuck who has money. And that's another thing too, Michael. If you have the money, how does that work for like now I can abuse you? What does that say? Get off your heels, brother. Do your mock-ups and bounce them off of me, and I'll show you.
I will.
Do your mock-ups. Like, hey, here's even right now, what are some of the attacks that are happening? And then just to show you how to be calm and cool. Like, no, I don't agree with that.
Well, just like she just repeated, I said, Jess, the kids are fine. She's like, you forgot your kids. I'm like, but they're fine. She goes, but you forgot your kids.
What's the point of what you're trying to say? They're safe and secure. What are you trying to say? It's like she's trying to create straw man arguments to have control because she knows that works on you.
Yeah.
Like, at what point is this considered abuse? If I
It's
keep
good.
making up a straw man argument to make you wrong, I'm like, but you weren't there either. You forgot your kids. You're a fucking horrible mother. You're a terrible person. Like, what is the point of this? How does that make you good by calling other people bad? Don't you see the poison? It's not your bad. Don't you see the person adding poison is what makes it bad? Why can't there be acceptance here? You're like, okay, good, the kids are safe.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make, I have a reason to poison you and call myself good. Listen, some of you guys, I wish I could just would do a wife swap, and I'll be like, so what we did, we had one day where I had to take her to the mats. I choked her up real good. After that, she was like, I ain't fucking with this no more. And then she had good manners. It was awesome.
Like dog training.
Yeah, like dog training. Just had to do a couple good corrections, and then after that, she was no problem.
Cool.
So-
What time you coming over?
Right?
My biggest question is how much of this comes from my upbringing, how much of this comes from her, how much of it is a bit of both.
It's both. You trained her to be like this. You actually taught her to be like this.
Oh, that's great.
But you can unteach her too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
But you have to be the thing that you want. And so being reactive to these things, because you got on your heels immediately because she says mean shit. But just point out, like, hey, let's record these conversations because you're saying shit that's mean. And I also have to see my own reaction to these too. Openly
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, too, she'll get her manners back. And
How's
just say,
that gonna
hey,
help? How's that gonna help fix the situation?
just say you're going to send the videos to Rick to get them analyzed. You don't even have to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just the accountability element of trying to be cool. People will try and put on a happy face when they think that somebody's going to be analyzing it. Just go like, you
It's
know what?
true.
You may be right. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Rick suggested we record these conversations for self-analysis, and then I may send them to him so that way we can see where we're missing each other. And so, with your agreement, I'm not hiding and doing secret recordings, but I'd like us to be able to see how can we communicate better and where we're missing each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's
Michael, if I could, Rick, my wife and I did this a few years ago. We put a Ring camera, just plugged it in the wall, sat it on by the TV.
Mhm.
And actually, I think it was my wife's idea. She's like, "Oh, let's record ourselves. You want to see?" Well, guess what? We probably had almost no arguments. We were on 100%. I mean, we forgot the camera was there, but shit just didn't happen because I think we were both subconsciously afraid we were going to be, there was going to be a recording that could be shown to somebody.
Yeah. Michael, I think that you haven't had any accountability or consequence for abuse. You trained her to treat you like this. That's abusive. That's an abusive relationship. If a man was doing that to a woman in the store, they would say, "Hey, dude, this guy's really abusive to that woman." But why is it not the same if a woman does it to a man? You are teaching her that is okay behavior. It's not okay behavior. That's abuse. Get Ring cams. You can get a fucking Wi-Fi cams. They're cheap, dude. You can for like $30. You can get 4 of them.
I'll look into it.
It's fucking easy, man. I'm just saying. Like, these things are just like, hit the phone. Like, hey, babe, maybe we're just arguing and I'm missing something. I'm going to record this for us so that way I can see what I'm missing. And then maybe I'll even send it to Rick so he can tell me which part I'm goofing up on. And she'll be like, Michael, I really wish you would have gotten the children on time. Big, me too. I agree. But the kids are good. And so they're safe. So I'm really happy they're okay. Yes, but Michael, I believe that it would be in the best interest for the children to be there on time. Be like, yeah, we can go together. We can do a quality time thing. Wouldn't that be cool? Ooh, Michael. And like, you'll watch her change her tune. She'll all of a sudden have her P's and Q's together. It's interesting. I think I'm with Doug on this one. Accountability changes the game. Truth changes the game.
I will have a discussion when things cool off.
Stay off your heels, bro.
Yep.
It's not a sexy look for a big, strong guy like you.
Fuck no.
Like, but you said sorry like 5 times and then went running out there like I'm in trouble. Like, you're in trouble. The kids are right there. 4 houses.
It's because I'm so used to being a fuck up. That's why.
But you're not a fuck up. You're just branded the candy man on everything. This is why know thyself is so important, because you go, not a fuck up because you're judgmental.
So you're thinking I can get through Spartan in 14 weeks?
Yes.
That's everything I need to do?
Well, it gives you the foundation. This is boot camp. We have special ops training after this.
Yeah. Yep.
This is boot camp, man. You're not a Navy SEAL after boot camp. We still got more training.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, this is the way.
In it to win it, brother.
Mm-hmm. This is the way. All right. Good job today, guys. All right. I got to get some food and get going, but we went a little longer today. This is a very, very potent and interesting lesson. This is a very potent and interesting lesson. And how'd you guys think about that? What'd you guys think about that values thing?
That was cool.
Really great. Yeah, it was
Super cool.
a long, strange trip.
Pretty cool, right? Now
It
you
was
guys
awesome.
you guys can see now when I said nobody's ever gotten it right.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has. I've done this for years. And I've even had authors and experts I do this with, and they weren't even right anyways. It's very funny when I've had people who like coach and they don't even have their values right. Very funny. So very cool to do this lesson. Cool to have us find more about ourselves and being able to get stronger and stronger. And Nosce te ipsum. Know thyself. All right. Next week, if I remember, is the 2 wolves, right? This gets into the duality of ourselves. And this is a very cool conversation to get into, because this is going to be that, Apollo and Dionysus, if you're going through Nietzschean theory, different elements of stuff. So these are the parts that's pretty cool for next week, guys. Looking forward to getting further into who we are, and then we're going to get into your fighting style. So remember what I said before? We're going to triple down on our strengths, Derek. Triple down on your strengths, and then we go into the other areas. Next week, look at what are some of the things that you guys have as strengths. And then that way we can get stronger in what it is you're really good at, and then take the best version of you into the next area. So this is very cool next week also. And Kyle, you can always shoot me a DM. It's fine. You guys can all DM me. I'll get to it when I get to it, but you can always DM me.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, Warriors. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
Later,
See you
Rick.
guys.
Thanks.